Jaylee Hazelwood, initially a point of investigation due to her sculpture containing a predominant red. Additionally, Anne observed Edmund Beckett taking an interest in her piece, and Alonzo Reedfoot exchanging business cards with her. It seems unlikely that Jaylee had involvement in Kelson's death, and the likelihood of her being involved in Tarek's is even less. Anne tasked themselves with her protection for the duration of the auction. Therefore, I can personally confirm the legitimacy of her alibi. It is this self-appointed task that found N in a state of concern when they realized they had not checked on Jaylee since the incident. Their preoccupation with the investigation and Tassie's death left them in a complex position regarding Jaylee's survival. However, Alonzo Reedfoot has been seen conversing with one artist in Regalport. It stood to reason he may speak with another. And that was enough basis for a substantial number of distressing scenarios to be entertained in N's mind. Therefore, N went to visit her studio. In conclusion, Jaylee is still alive. Her opinion of N seems to remain positive, and in exchange, N continues to position themselves as acceptable and accessible to her. They have not only exchanged contact information with Jaylee, but sensitive personal information in hopes of circumventing any further attempts Beckett might make at Jaylee's attention. It is a dangerous play, one that guarantees nothing and exposes much, and is dropping their guard for little more than an unknown. But I understand Enz needs this, and needs Jaylee's fate to be different. Not all of En's needs are as simple as having them eat and rest. This is perhaps an acceptable risk. I cannot deny that her proclamation of trust in N has caused a shift somewhere, pulled in a preferable direction. That is a need I cannot fulfill. Jaylee Hazelwood. I carry none of N's misdirected resentment towards you, nor do I carry their preoccupation with the traits you share, nor the drive to protect you. The only thing I ask from you is that you heed N's words. They're opening their heart to you. Do not make the result an encounter with me. Lydia DeTherani. Audrey spoke with her regarding multiple aspects of the case, though most notably the Folly and Edmund Beckett. There are no signs of the Folly being shut down or moved to Sharn. The lead actress herself appears to instead be holding out hope that Tarek's resurrection will allow things to return to what they once were. But, in the meantime, she mourns the playwright and finds herself confused by Captain Froster's refusal of financial aid. Edmund Beckett did not stick in her mind as anyone in particular. That may not have been his goal, but it is valuable insight to know he's yet to do anything that stands out to Lydia. It's also a fact that amuses N, which I will accept in these strained times. I'm no closer to understanding what he wants in all of this. However, if he is presently getting nothing from Lydia or Jaylee and finds Warfred lacking, then that is an agreeable place for him to stay. Willow Jenkins, and spoke with Willow regarding the magic that may have been used in Tarek's murder. Firstly, memory-altering magic. Arl has been noted as missing a chunk of his memory. Assuming this is not a lie, he may have been under the influence of something else. Likely a powerful spell. However, Willow could not name specifics. Secondly, summoning magic. A creature could easily be summoned from another plane with the right spell. If it was not bound, it would then return to the plane of its origin. A murder weapon easily hidden. Considering the non-humanoid tendons found under Tarek's nails, this seems possible. Bolstering this point was the third question. Emotional manipulation magic, such as fear. Though there is magic one can learn to induce such a state, there is also the possibility of a creature having such magical influence as an innate ability. Tarek died while being affected by potent emotional magic. If this was caused by a creature, then it simultaneously explains the spell and the tendon. Plausible. A fruitful conversation, perhaps the only one Willow had that day, seeing as they appeared rather exhausted. It would seem they spent their time chasing dead ends, which is problematic. The days are running out quickly, and can only hope this conversation allows Willow to be better armed for the fights ahead. Meraldine Frostrud. I read her surface thoughts during a conversation with Lydia. It would appear she will stop at nothing to maintain a ruthless independence when it comes to resurrecting Tarek. She is refusing eager assistance from House Thorani to the point of nearly insulting Lydia. There is pride present, hard-headed commitment, but where its roots lay remains unclear. In her mind, she claims, I brought him to stardom, I will bring him back, which raises more questions than it answers. Speculation is a waste of time. Further observation will be necessary to determine the facts. Additionally, I find myself curious as to what part I have played in this. I first met Captain Frostroot under her employ as a body double. I ensured she would not have to attend the debut of her partner's play. What end? But what weighs on N's mind most is her involvement with Edmund Beckett. It remains a point of mystery. What did he offer her? What is their relationship? We are aware he exchanged letters with Tarek. Where did Meraldine stand in that arrangement? I would like to hear the truth of all these things from her. Difficult task. But first, we must hear the truth from Tarek.
Ooh.
I see how it is. I don't get a little recap in your recap, Kai.
Oh my god. How do you get offended by everything Kai says or doesn't say?
Exactly. He didn't say.
Oh my
Am I not worthy of note?
No.
Going around.
Jumping in. Be glad.
Go ahead, make yourself worthy
God,
of note
cool.
right now.
Oh my god. Guys,
Wait, didn't Kai call Luca noteworthy at one point?
Ooh.
Probably due to your size.
Noteworthy. That's as close as the compliment you're getting. Bro, your delivery of that recap plus Kai just glaring down the screen is like, I just sit here.
I'm glad.
He's such a vibe.
He's wonderful.
It's great work.
Thank you.
So, you have accompanied Seeker Elsa to the Blessed Wings Hospital to perform a ritual that allow you to speak with the deceased Tarek Elham. Or rather, ask him a few questions. Captain Meraldine Frostroot stands in front of the curtain that divides the private medical room that is your theater of operations. He's been set up in preparation. Are we ready for the main event?
I believe maybe Kai has not followed them into the main room. He might be waiting outside the main room, doing something else this time. So it's just Luca and Elsa.
What is Secret Elsa doing?
Seeker Elsa says, yes, I just need to set up.
I'll gesture for Secret Elsa to go behind the curtain and then try to usher Meraldine away for a moment.
You can have an aside with her while Seeker Elsa starts setting up.
Yeah. So there are just a few things I want to go through before we start, if that's all right with you.
Meraldine nods.
So first, obviously this is an important conversation to a lot of people, so with your permission, I would like to use a scriber to make sure that we note down everything that is said.
She nods.
Fantastic. Second, this ritual often proves to be quite tolling on people. So if you feel you need to take a break at some point, you can let Secret Elsa or myself know. And if it's a little bit too difficult to say that out loud, you can just put your hands up like this. And he kind of raises his hands, palms facing outward, and we'll know that you need to take a moment.
She nods again in understanding. Her arms are folded and she is sort of got a finger to her chin in thought. her body language is very closed off and defensive, but her eyes are dry and alert. She is paying attention to what you are saying.
Okay. And oftentimes when we have conversations with loved ones, it's noted that they sound a little bit different when they talk. So right now, there are certain processes that normally would affect our voice, like breathing, for example. And because that's not being utilized right now, your loved one may sound a little bit different when he speaks. That's normal. So you don't need to worry about anything with regards to that.
Is that all?
No, actually. With regards to our conversation yesterday, I
Yes.
would like to apologize. Upon reflection, I realized that while I tried to offer some thoughts that you may not have had, and obviously I wasn't trying to push you into any one particular direction, but I realized that I think you're the kind of person who would prefer not to hear something at all. So I just wanted to apologize for that and offer you this as a peace offering. And Luca produces the little bag of sleepy time tea. Whenever we do this ritual at the clinic, we usually use our own blend of relaxing tea afterwards. It tends to help people recover, but I don't think you will let yourself have the time for that. So maybe you could take some time later when you think you're able.
She inspects the tea.
I'm not familiar with this blend, but apparently it's very popular. It's light, so not too flavorful.
I appreciate the gift. She just like skims over it and then sets the tea aside on a table.
Good. So, is there anything you would like to ask before we start?
Not ask, but you will announce each question to me before we ask it of him. And I reserve the right to veto. Are we understood?
Can I make like a check to see if there's any particular reason she might want to?
You can try and make an insight check.
Damn it. Okay.
Not that you can discern. You would guess that it's probably the same logic as behind her being present.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Luca nods and says, as you recall, most of our questions are relating to the circumstances of his death, so hopefully there isn't anything there that would require a veto. Give her a smile.
She nods. Very well then, let's proceed. She walks behind the curtain. Tarek Elham's corpse lies upon the hospital gurney, all his wounds cleaned and bandaged. His eyes are covered by pristine white gauze, his body covered by a fresh sheet. Were it not for the ashy dullness of his skin and the gruesome display that you witnessed, you would seem merely at rest. Seeker Elsa bows her head and gets to work. With incense and a vial of ritual blood from her working bag, she works swiftly and carefully, speaking the incantations of her faith that will allow an echo of life to return to the body, to answer questions that it might guide those left behind. It takes time. Geraldine stands silently, watching like a hawk over the proceedings. Finally, Seeker Elsa completes the incantation, applying a drop of blood upon Tarek's lips. The animating magic flows like breath into the still lungs. Seeker Elsa nods towards the captain. We may ask our questions now. Geraldine looks over to you. What is the first question?
I would like to request he describe the circumstances surrounding his death.
She nods. By your leave, then. Seeker Elsa nods and says, Please describe the last few minutes that led to your death. Our gaze draws close as we watch the magic sort of swirl around the head of Tarek Elham. The dead body parts its lips, a semblance of life creeping into it, but only a semblance. His voice is strange and echoey when he speaks. I was out of doors to clear my mind when I saw that petty fool drying his crocodile tears on the hand of some northern elf maiden, so I turned to find my own peace. Then I thought I saw Geraldine entering the gallery while everyone left. I was compelled to follow into the empty gallery for a private conversation, to diffuse the argument, and then she... The silver face of tragedy winked sly. Curling hair unfolded into fibrous strands of flesh and a dozen roving eyes protruding from makeshift sockets to stare unblinking. I am pierced, pinned like a moth to be studied beneath its dreadful gaze. Roiling bile rises in my throat as it unfurls to consume all that I can see. The itching terror crawls towards my hands, crawls towards my face, my eyes, my skin. It is inside my skin itself. It burns. It slithers in my very veins. I cry, but no! My throat is shuttered tight by coils of gory red and silver ligament. My eyes water and the tendrils suck the trees like greedy roots after drought. I do not hear the voice with my ears, yet it speaks, loud, deafening, all-encompassing. I spiral into a choking darkness, my eyes consumed but not blinded. I see horrors. What horrors I see! Memory manifests, made more real than the record of history writ by the coroners that would declare war in its coffin, dead. In the twisting flesh and grasping hands of mist, I see the death of Ciri from the window of the lightning rail, departing the crowded train car packed with my fellows, a mandatory evacuation. Shiver ripples up the spine of the world, our only warning a voiceless whisper. I don't want to look. I don't want to see. I struggle, I claw, I tear at flesh-wrought chains that bind me. I am made witness once more to the apocalypse. I see it all again, making unmade, the world shattering into boiling glass. It rises to height beyond heights. The city shattered, the army scattered, like dust upon the wind, and we must watch, helpless, as the rent earth bleeds forth nightmares. Don't make me look! No more! I cry, I beg, and blindly grope with desperate violence, life's last strength summoned to strangle my foe, to no avail, alas! Flesh turns to steel, tears me asunder, and my blood gutters through my lungs. Insides out, I am exposed now more than ever I was on the stage. But as my dying breath escapes my lips, visions of that calamity persist. All I can do is watch the end of the world. All I can do is witness the horror, as the tyrant yet feeds upon my fear. No more! If death must take me, make it dark and silent. Make me look at it no more!
A lot to process.
Yeah.
I'm crying.
How are you feeling, Willow?
Willow isn't here.
Kind of glad Kai
Kai is
isn't.
in shambles.
Kind of glad Kai isn't either.
Willow starts crying off
Oh
screen
my
for no
God.
reason.
Yeah, for the record,
Whoa.
Kai is in another room, detecting thoughts right now, but we can get to that
Oh, yeah.
later.
Oh.
Yeah, Kai is listening in on Meryldene's thoughts right now from the other room. So Zeke, feel free to
Okay.
detail that whenever you want. I will not be.
I think I'll detail Meryldene's thoughts with this right now. You can't
Yeah,
make out the
please.
exact words of Tarek Elham, but you can hear Meryldene's thoughts
Yep.
clearly. To Luca, Merylden is tight-lipped, white-knuckled, eyes dry, simply focused. Her focus flickering between Tarek, Seeker Elsa, and the pen on the page that is writing down his words as they speak. In your mind, Kai, you hear Meryldene's thoughts of sheer terror. What could have done this to him?
Aw.
She is scared. She is terrified of what happened to him.
Aw.
And it is taking every ounce of her self-control to appear calm on the surface. She is counting her breaths in her head.
Right.
Oh my God.
Kai remains sentry outside the door, eyes closed, focused.
May I ask Merylden a question?
Yes.
He said that you left and went back into the gallery. Is that true?
We can discuss that later, but no, it was not. Shall we move on to the next question?
Gonna step back into meta. What do you guys think? It's
Ask me what I mean. Yeah, we can keep going, I think. Next question.
yeah.
What do you add to that? Bro just dropped the freaking soliloquy of a lifetime! Not
Oh, God.
death time!
Of course,
God.
he would speak a poem when describing the death of
course
his
he would.
home. Oh.
Fuck! That was a lot. Sorry, I need to just quickly go through the minutes. Pat me on the back. You motherfucker, you're insane. Thank you. Get back to this.
I'm glad I had the extra week to work on it.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Amazing
Mwah.
work.
All right, wait, we're
Okay.
in the scene.
Yeah.
Steps back into the
Okay,
shadows
no,
and sobs into a puddle. Hi, bye.
Next question. What do we think?
Oh, okay, we met it. Sorry, I'm step back. What do you? So, so you asked that. I don't. Fuck. What is the next question that's slated already?
On the list would be the last person he spoke to.
Has that been answered? No, not really, because he thought he saw.
He saw Merylden, he didn't necessarily speak to her. Like,
And
so
he
he-
said
Yeah.
he mentioned him in
Yeah. Something
Clawing at his neck?
Elven. Oh, did he?
That was Arl. Crocodile tears, most likely Arl.
Ah, yes. Gotcha. Elven maiden, Errol.
That's my
the other
elven
one.
mate. But no, when
Okay.
after following Miraldine, he mentioned I think he mentioned a man, Zeke, am I correct? And
No.
clawing at his neck?
Or was it Tarek's own neck?
Hmm.
He's a
Can we-
poet!
Can we have the transcript?
No, because we wouldn't know that on the
Oh.
fly. Oh, I guess you could check the scribe.
I have it
Yeah.
written down, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, you can. I forgot to thank you, magic of modern technology, air quotes.
Yep.
Modern
Okay.
Magitech. Illy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be.
I'll put it in.
Because
Uh,
so we all agree that he's got like some mind altering shit going on. Meaning asking the last person he talked to might not be fruitful.
You might
Because-
say like the people on the train, you know.
Yeah. And he said
Last
he
person
saw
in the gallery
Miraldine.
that you spoke to.
Well,
But he didn't speak to her.
Miraldine.
By the sounds of it, she unfolded
yeah.
into a monster before anything happened. I was unfolded into a multi-eyed monster.
Hey,
Are you
Errol!
serious?
Oh my god, I want to draw that. I want to animate that.
God. Okay. All right.
Oh.
Coherence. Oh god, I feel like puking reading this. Sorry, it's so bad.
It's so good. Zeke.
Oh, there.
I have so many theories that got confirmed, hence my multiple keyboard smashes in the chat. But anyway. Oh my god, I fucking hate this guy. Not Tarek. I'm thinking of. Don't worry about it.
Oh, the mandatory evacuation.
I'm so fucking sad. Missed. I see. He saw. Oh my god. Mmm.
Well,
Sorry, everyone just listening to us having. Like,
I know we're
please?
like, about the Siri thing, but I'm looking at the silver face of tragedy winked sly and having
Yes,
thoughts
yes.
about
Your
that.
Exactly. Oh no, I'm not even.
wait, what?
The silver face of tragedy wink. That snapdragon pin.
The pin is the tragedy face of
Oh, you
the
guys are
masks.
smart.
I can't even put into words how much my mind is slipping off reading
That's why I'm like,
this.
it's actually a good thing that Kai might not be hearing this right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he might be on here. Ooh, okay. No,
That's-
okay.
But no, that's good. But that. Anyway, what I was gonna say was, please, to the chat, imagine Luca looking back at the scriber thing. It just seems very handsome of him. Oh my god, he can read. Oh my god, our paladin can read. Wow, look at him checking his
Intellectual
legs.
king.
I just feel like he has such an interesting face when he's reading over it again. It is not easy to read.
It is not easy to read or listen to, honestly. Good job.
anyway, to
Yeah.
answer your question, Sarah, there is no mention of a he.
Yeah, okay. So I'm also kind of wanting to like veto the question of last person that was spoken to because I don't think that's valuable.
You can try another question first,
Mm.
and then see if he reveals anything interesting. We know
Which-
he was trying to fight against. Okay, we did. So we told her these questions last like 2 sessions ago.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we? I feel queasy. This is bad.
Come on, pull it together. I need your help. Otherwise, I'm going to ask him how much he loves Miraldine, and I don't think that's
Oh.
useful.
No, and
Not-
what if he says not very much at these trying times? God.
Realty will probably veto you because that's not relevant to the case.
Yeah.
Maybe we should ask about the
Maybe
poison.
Stabs.
Maybe we should
Yeah,
ask
that's
about
what
the
I was
poison.
thinking.
Yeah. I can't even find our list. Yeah. So the who do you think was poisoning you? That question.
Yeah.
It was, did you know you were being poisoned?
Yeah, but we
Yeah,
decided
we-
against that because it's a yes or no question. So we decided who do you think was
Okay.
poisoning you? That was
Yeah.
Okay.
In the. Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Well, I don't know if Zeke's prepared another poem.
I mean, I don't want to hear a poem. Oh my god. I think it makes sense to skip to that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. After taking a moment to reread what was there's a time limit on this spell, right?
Yes.
but we are
Yeah,
in meta,
okay.
so like
Yeah. So Luca will skim to make sure that nothing is contradicting questions, and then obviously he will decide against asking his next question and then look at Seeker Elsa and ask, can you ask who he believes would have been the one that is poisoning him with methyl mercury. No, not specific. Ask who he believes is the person that was poisoning him.
Seeker also looks to Meraldine, who inclines her head. Who do you believe was poisoning you? She asks. Breath enters Tarek's lungs once again. I was unaware that I was being poisoned.
Makes sense. Okay.
Well, that tracks.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm writing notes. Got my big note
Oh, yeah.
hands. Okay. So
That's 2 questions.
We might end up coming back to who's the last person you spoke to at the gallery. But maybe that can be our 4th question. Or last question. 5th question.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess who wants to kill you? Who doesn't? We could ask him if anyone... No, that doesn't make sense.
I mean, I'm leaning
Speak.
towards who wanted something from you.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll lean towards that too. Yeah, that is the answer to the question I was musing about.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I agree. That's what I was going to
Okay.
suggest as well. So
Yay, high five, everybody.
Saddest high five.
Yeah,
Luca looks
please.
at Secret Elsa and says, can you please ask if they're two... I want to... Zeke, if I say a question that isn't worded the best and you're going to be kind,
Reword
right?
it.
Yeah. I would like to ask him to describe the people who may have had reason, who wanted something from him enough to kill for it.
Okay.
And what those things were.
Okay. Seeker Elsa asks, could you describe... Hold on. Who wanted things from you badly enough that they would be willing to kill you over it? Breath enters Tarek's lungs once more. Who did not want something from me? My dignity, my obeisance, my words, my very flesh itself, for the sake of their comfort, for the sake of their wealth, for the sake of a stifled, festering peace, painted over the raw wound of the world that I would not let them get. I would not let them ever be at ease, while me and mine were drowning in grief. The wealthy wanted my words, my works of art. I refused them all. Too many to name.
Dude's got bars, but
That is his job.
yeah.
Literally, stanzas, as it were. He has a point.
It's not unexpected. It's okay. It's okay.
We expected riddles going in, so
Yeah, that's why we're writing them down.
And he did. That is a very apt response. Honestly, it makes me think a little harder about his relationship with House Thorani, even. But we'll see. Okay.
So 2 questions left.
3
Yeah.
questions.
3.
Done. 2 questions left.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Another riddle.
Nope, just math.
He's getting into character.
So that's a bit of a riddle.
Please don't get into character. Tarek's life sucks so much. His death sucks so much too.
It all sucks. What next?
Okay, we had a little list of questions. What else is there to ask? Who wanted something from you? Yeah. Who wants something from you and who wanted to kill you are 2 different questions. I feel like kill is like a...
Yeah, but he has kind of conflated the 2 in his statement there. I feel like...
Yeah.
I mean, it's because you conflated the 2 in the question of like,
Yeah.
who wanted something from you enough to kill you.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we did kind of cover those both, yeah?
Yeah.
Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I cannot believe how much this is killing Willow Brain. I can, obviously, but like...
Good thing you're not here.
Yeah, literally. Alright, so the monster he described, that's interesting. Did you... Maybe we could poke about his description of the monster or whoever he might have seen in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I am curious about a more concrete description of the monster, but I'm not certain we're going to get more than what he already gave.
Yeah, no, not even the monster itself, like anything around it, but it's like, hey, other than the gripping fear that consumed your entire brain, did you notice any details about the people?
But putting that aside...
Do you see a butler or no? Because I think the butler is a fucking...
Yeah, no, I'm keeping it together right now. And Bray doesn't know about this yet. I'm fucking dying at just the first little section there.
Yeah. Okay.
Dying. I'm dead.
Roving
Okay.
Roving eyes, huh?
Shut the fuck
Roving
up.
eyes of the slumbering tyrant, huh? Hey, huh?
I'm gonna
Anyway.
kill someone.
The prophecy, right?
That's the prophecy, yes.
Yep.
But we'll talk about that later.
Look,
Okay.
okay, we can only handle so fucking much right now. Compartmentalize. Compartmentalize. That's why Kai is here.
Trying. My eyes are jumping away from the transcript. I don't want to look. I don't want to see.
Yeah, that's what they say. Should we ask about Warfred? Should we just ask directly about Warfred? We know he did the portrait.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I feel like Luca might.
Yeah,
Willow is
what's your
suspicious
opinion
of
of
him.
Warfred, essentially? What's your opinion of Warfred,
okay, so how can we
Bajtash?
ask? What would we know to ask? So Luca has been listening to Willow just come back and tell vagaries about Warfred.
And Audrey talking to Brina have been very, noticeably pointing the finger at Warfred. So
Luca did a little bit as well when he was going over the testimony.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So I think he would know enough to, be aware that that's kind of the prime suspect we're looking at right now.
He's suspicious.
I mean, feel free to flank us with a little question. But yeah, what could you ask?
What do you mean flank us with a question?
Oh, I just feel like it'd flank me if Luca asked that question out of nowhere, like a specific targeted question towards somebody that you guys haven't mentioned to Meraldine.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like if you.
Well,
but
we do know he painted the portrait,
say?
So I just feel like that's a.
Yeah, we do.
You might as well say it, and if Meraldine's absolutely fucking not, then Kai will be reading the brain of whatever that's about. So go ahead.
So true. Actually, yeah. Did you? What's the last few things Tarek said? Did you have brain read on then? Did Meraldine think any more interesting thoughts?
I will have brain read on as long as the spell is going, because they're the same amount of time.
Same length.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything notable to glean from that brain read.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah.
I think it's about as expected, but like mildly frustrated at being vague.
God damn it, Tarek! In life and in
Such an
death.
artist. Yeah.
Wow, he's such a wordsmith.
Well, then maybe you
Geraldine
can
says,
absolve-
gripping her thighs.
Yeah. Maybe you can absolve that concern by asking a very pointed question then about Warford. How are we wording this?
Yeah, what are we asking?
I don't know. I think what's your opinion of Warford Bartosz is decent.
We could ask specifically, do you think it's bold. Do you
What
think
is the
Warford
opinion
Bartosz
of the
tried to
man who
kill you?
painted your portrait, if we don't want to name a
Yeah.
name?
But like if you wanted to be more targety, you could ask, do you think he tried to kill you? Because then again, that could be a no
Yeah.
answer. But it could also be a no, elaborate.
Do we want to
You know?
take that risk? Or do we want to just ask a pointed question? That is more open-ended.
Do you think he killed you?
God,
Oh,
do I have
sorry.
any insights on what might be the best question to ask in this case?
Oh yeah, you can roll dice.
Yeah.
I'm afraid this
Damn
is
it.
not a thing that dice can help you with.
I don't think he's going to say anything about Warford killing him, though, because we've already gotten his last
Yeah.
moments. He did not talk about Warfred or Dwarf or anything in his last moments. We need to work around what we've already learned from his last moments, which is why I would want to ask his opinion of Warfred, because that could be useful.
It could.
The other,
and you can.
another word instead of opinion might be relationship.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Smart. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What was the nature of your relationship with? It sounds. You know what I mean. I feel wildly unhelpful in this circumstance, but yeah, just ushers you guys along, offers you guys tea while you do this.
Yeah.
Okay, so describe the nature of your relationship with the man who painted your portrait, or are we going to
Yeah,
use
that's
his name?
slaps. That's what you said. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah? Okay, then
Yeah.
I will
Okay.
ask Secret Elsa to ask Tarek that question.
Meraldine interjects.
Oh.
Why ask about the portrait painter?
How much should I tell her?
As much as the contract will let you get away with, for starters.
Oh yeah, you can always fall back on the contract. Sorry, I'm contractually obliged not to tell you. No, she'll kick you.
If I
Not
said it
out,
in that
just-
voice, yes.
Yeah. Contractual.
Hmm.
Can Anne and Kai read Geraldine's line while Luca's thinking?
I mean, I am, so I just wait.
Yeah.
I wait until Zeke tells me
Reason
that there's
she-
something interesting.
She interjected, was like, why are you asking about this? Do they know something I don't?
Can I? I don't want to like ice her out, but
You can say you're following a lead.
Yeah, we have reason to believe that the portrait painter might be involved.
Speculation at present. Just so she doesn't go hunt him down herself.
yeah. Okay. Right now we have a handful of leads that we're following up on, but I'm afraid I can't get into details just yet.
Okay. She's gonna roll an insight check. Scrutinize you. Low. Roll 20. She squints her eye at you.
Do I need to like roll anything to be a wall of mystery?
You could roll persuasion.
Sweet baby Jeeves.
Do you have inspiration left or not anymore?
No, I use that bitch.
Well, good.
Can Meryl or can Elsa help you?
No,
No,
Elsa's busy.
he's doing the magic.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well,
In
nice
which
knowing you guys.
case, I think Meraldine says, I veto that question. If you can't prove to me that it is relevant to the case, I don't think it is wise to waste our precious resources this early in the game.
Hmm.
You could use this as a chance to flick it back to her, as a chance to offer a question that she deems more reasonable.
Yeah, I think I will ask. What would you then suggest?
Meraldine pauses and then thinks. I have a question.
Luca nods.
Seeker?
Like,
Seeker? Ask him, are you satisfied with your works as they are?
Luca raises a hand at that. Why?
Meryl.
Luca raises a hand to gently stop Seeker Elsa and looks at Meraldine and asks why. Why this question?
You were questioning earlier whether I should put in all that effort to resurrect him or not. As if it were for my sake. Well, if he still feels he has yet more to say, then arguably, I'm resurrecting him for his sake. Do you disagree?
Damn it, that's a good point.
Is it? There are
Yeah.
more reasons to be alive than just poetry.
Maybe not to him, though.
That's stuffed up.
Also,
Okay.
she just mentioned limited resources, and now we're going for that instead of trying to solve the murder where the murderer could be getting away.
Yeah.
With all of their eyeballs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
every last one of them.
Yeah. Luca will nod and then say, forgive me, but as you said, we have limited resources. That certainly seems like a question that could wait a week.
If you have a better one, then, that you feel would further your case into solving his death, by all means.
Cut it off. Lady.
How do we ask the same question but different so she doesn't know?
Yeah, let's reword that. Now we just hit with the what's your opinion of Wilfred Bartosz? No,
Did Luca hear Kai ask who she thought was the one who killed him?
Yes.
No, because you distinctly...
Oh, Kai wasn't
Mm.
hiding it. You left, but you were eavesdropping.
Luca said he wasn't
That's right. I
eavesdropping.
just remembered that. Yes.
Yeah,
So
because I'm a good boy.
yeah, whatever.
Do you think we would have discussed that afterwards?
I think Kai told you.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
So
Like, okay. All right, let me ask this. Who do you think did this to Tarek?
As of yet, I have no name to suspect.
Do you no longer suspect Errol?
Meraldine tenses up a little bit. Kai, you here? I don't know why I accused him in the first place. She seems confused
oh boy.
as to
Oh,
why
boy.
she made that conclusion in the first place, but has rationalized it as an emotional outburst.
Oh my lady.
Do you think I would have been able to glean something like that?
No,
No, damn it.
this is specifically mind reading
Mm,
benefits. There's a reason why insight checks can only get you so far.
yeah, because it's not like
Um,
it's mind reading. It's just trying to see what
Like
you can
inference.
glean from looking at a
Yeah.
person and knowing what they
Yeah.
think like.
Holy
Yeah.
schmoly!
Okay.
Okay, we good.
Everyone's
Could
calm.
I-
Everyone's cool.
Could
What's
Kai
that?
tell me that, or would that stop
No. Oh.
the like? Would using his
Awakened mind.
is it awakened mind? Could he do that
Oh, yeah.
while?
Meraldine just rolled a natural 19 for a 25, so I'm afraid
Holy
that
shit.
15 ain't gonna cut it.
Wow.
Yep. Okay.
No, I need
Uh,
to. I need to see her to, or I need to see Luca in this case to use my awakened mind, and message would
Yeah.
break the detect thoughts. So
Okay.
Yep.
I'm cut
That
off.
brings the tech thought. Yeah.
Yep, but it'll be useful for later.
Yeah, it sure will.
What's the Damon line again about the pearl?
Yeah.
It's a secret
Okay,
weapon
so
for
she-
later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did she
s-
say anything in response to Luca's question of whether she
I haven't
still
had the
suspected
chance
Earl?
to say. I
Yeah.
haven't had the chance to say anything yet.
We're
Sorry,
just dying
you've been
here.
blowing up freaking
We're so
bubbles so
excited.
late.
We're just dying, Zeke. Please go ahead.
She says, "At this moment, I have every reason to suspect anyone who was involved in the gallery that night. And I saw him speak with Errol de Tharani last, when I exited the gallery. There was a moment, I believe, that is on record as me having left the auction room. Briefly,
Luca nods.
I was looking for him. I saw him speaking with Errol de Tharani. And Tarek glared at me. So I returned to the auction room.
Right.
Oh, clearly, Tarek's mind has somehow been influenced. He believes he saw me, so there's no way of knowing, is there? She gives you a chilling smile. The iciest of Ice Queen smiles.
Luca's like, no problem. This is all new information. This is good. Like, keep talking.
Yeah. Say more.
Right? Luca's too stupid to be intimidated by ice queens.
He already fought an ice queen in a tournament. He's got this down pat.
Right? Okay. Question.
So it seems like he, in describing his last moments, did not mention this conversation with Arl. He just mentioned seeing Arl speaking to an elven woman, a northern
Yes.
elven woman, who I wonder who that could possibly herald the
Yeah,
Thorani, you
just,
motherfucker.
Wait, what?
Wait, wouldn't that be what's
Elia
her face?
probably.
Yeah.
Right? You said
you said
Thorani, and I was like,
Elf. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean Fallen?
Fraulein.
Bruh.
You know
So-
what I
so-
mean. Anyway,
I wasn't trying because there's also a Thorani there.
anyway,
It's a
my point is that now I'm curious. What did you talk to Arl about? Like, what is the last thing you talked to Arl about? But if his mind has been manipulated and he's forgotten that, then that's not helpful. But if he says he doesn't remember that, that also is like that wasn't Tarek.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good thought. So he didn't specifically say. Hold on.
Yeah, he didn't say he spoke to Arl, and that could
No.
mean that either there's some kind of manipulation going on there, or I'm more likely to consider the fact that that was not Tarek at all.
Yeah. Yeah. That's.
And he glared at me.
The nerve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
How mean.
as good as that question is initially to think of, I feel like it's going to hit nothing if we are assuming that he is not actually like if Meraldine what Meraldine just said essentially seems to suggest she's thinking that his perspective was a bit altered.
Mm.
So even if he responds, "I never spoke to Earl," then we are already running on the assumption that his entire experience of his last few moments was not
Like, not-
reliable.
yeah. That's true. There's also the idea. The glare could also be a spell.
Yeah. Oh, I'm annoyed about the Wilfred question though.
I know.
Yeah. Could you ask about maybe the survivors or the paintings at the gallery?
In what way?
To what end?
Well, the survivors was Warfred's painting, and it's just another way we could try and get in that angle and like learn Tarek's opinion.
About the artists of the survivors.
Yes.
So asking the same question, but in a way that Meraldine can't.
Might not know.
I mean, we can expand it a bit, maybe.
She might be privy to the fact that that's the same artist, but she might not be. We could also ask, like, completely off base, we could ask where he got his so-called medication from. But I guess we could also investigate his house about that.
Would also be curious if he'd noticed any silver faces of tragedy anywhere else that night.
But I don't know that, do I?
Yeah, I don't think Luca would have clicked about that.
No. As much
You
as
could
I
do
would
a
like
little
to.
intelligence check to see if you glean it. It is like the first line of his poem.
I don't think that's in character though.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Unfortunately.
Silver face of tragedy. The moon? Is he talking about the moon?
You could try and offer Meraldine more about Warfred to try and convince her again.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but I don't want to break the contract is the only thing.
You don't have to tell her details. He already knows about the poisoning.
You could come from the angle of you're narrowing down the scope of people that could have had the opportunity to poison Tarek. And
yeah, exactly.
time,
he's the one who had
with,
access. That's why we want to question him about him.
Okay.
So you can just wheel back to that.
Yeah,
that
poisoning and ask about again. Push it again.
Yeah, Tarek's poison. Poison specifically made to poison Tarek. That poison?
So
someone finish the line, please.
Yes, that poison.
The other thing you could ask about is like the symptoms of his headaches or migraines.
Yeah.
Well, if this fails,
if you want to go that.
Has it been indicated that Meraldine knows he was being poisoned?
Well, we mentioned it, didn't we? A second ago.
Yeah, but does she know?
She knows because she has access to his medical records.
Okay. So I will ask, say, you know that he was being poisoned over an extended period of time, yes?
That was in the medical reports, yes.
And if our assumption is that you weren't doing it, who would have had the opportunity? Someone who spent frequent, repeated hours at a time with him, offering him things that he might ingest. Like, say, someone painting his portrait, offering him water or tea.
Very well then. Kai, you audibly hear like Meraldine has sort of laser focused in on Warfred and is almost mentally planning to confront him herself.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to. We'll deal with that later. Unvetoed. I will ask Secret Elsa to ask relationship with the man who painted his portrait.
Okay. Secret Elsa repeats the question. An acquaintance, a sympathetic ear. He was courteous, talented, eager to hear what I had to say about politics, about poetry. Though his tastes were disquieting at times, he made me believe that it was hewn from a similar purpose to mine, to confront those who would otherwise look away from the horrors of war. I did not know him very well.
Found him uncomfortable. Glad that's a consensus.
Good job,
Or
Warfred.
at least his art.
Have a brand.
Ugh. I hate it here.
Meraldine twitches an eyebrow in sort of, that's all sort of way.
Honestly, same girl.
Meraldine just waiting for him to be like, he did it, he killed me, and she can be like, good, and draw a sword.
Draw a sword and leave
marches
the
over
room.
You know, you're so valid, miss.
Yeah,
But,
I wouldn't stop you.
Yeah.
Well then, Meraldine says, we're on our final question.
Luca is just idly tapping a pen against his lip as he thinks. What do we think, gang?
I think Seeker Elsa sort of turns to you, Luca, gestures for you to lean in so that she can talk to you.
Yeah.
Why not let her ask that question that she had earlier? Seems it would give her peace of mind.
Luca sighs a little bit and nods.
Seeker Elsa gives you a grateful smile and then clears her throat. Captain Frostroot, if you would still like to, we can ask your question. Meraldine says, oh. Well, good then. Ask away. Seeker Elsa bows her head for a final time and asks, are you satisfied with your works as they are? For a final time, the lips of Tarek Eltham part to speak with his voice from beyond the grave. No, never. I have so much more to say. I have so much more to write. I have only just begun. And with that final word, the spell dissipates. The blood dries. The lighting in the room returns to normal. Seek Elsa bows her head, carefully wipes away the signs of magic, leaving Tarek Elham as pristine as before.
How does Meraldine look at that answer?
Mm-hmm.
Yo! I'm still gonna roll an insight check. I could roll higher if I'm really lucky. Nope.
Good effort.
Yeah. Meraldine
Kai? Did Kai hear?
appears. Yeah, we'll get to him.
Oh,
Give us a second.
oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Sorry.
Like I'm dealing with dogs who have just heard the word Wookiees and scrambling at the door. Anyway, Meraldine appears self-satisfied, dry-eyed, calm. She merely nods, said, "As I thought. Thank you very much for your time, Seeker Elsa. Seeker Luca, was it?
Okay, nods.
If I have further questions in another 10 days, I will know whom to ask first. Correct?
We will be happy to assist.
Good. Thank you very much for your time.
You as well.
Seeker Elsa bows, says, "Thank you. We hope that this has been of assistance." Kai, you heard the moment that Tarek's words washed over Meraldine's mind, and there was a breathless, shivering moment of relief and hope,
Oh.
clenched so tightly as to be painful. She is going to revive him, come hell or high water.
All right.
Not
Understood.
that there was any doubt in her mind, but that just hardened her resolve ever the more.
All right. Kai feels the spell start to fade, the coin running on his fingers as he's standing at the archway of the door closed outside of this room, leaned against the wall, listening.
Mhm.
The coin stills as the spell fades away. He pockets it and waits.
Okay. Seeker Elsa and Luca clear away their things. You bid your goodbyes to Captain Frostroot.
Did she take the tea?
It's sitting on the table. She accepted it earlier.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
sitting on the side.
He's staying in the
Okay.
room.
Yeah, she's waiting for you to leave first.
Okay. Then I think we shall.
Okay.
Is she coming out? Is she going to stay with Tarek?
I think she is lingering for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kai lifts his head as he watches Luca and Elsa exit the room. Then he kind of peers back towards the room. He might just wait here if he doesn't necessarily want to intrude on her moment.
Mm-hmm.
So he might actually just wave Luca and Elsa off, like, I'll catch up and stay there.
Luca tugs at his ear briefly, like, what is your deal?
I wish to speak with her.
Regarding?
Kai just stares at you.
Don't break her spirit.
I have no intention to.
Then Luca nods and continues with Seeker Elsa.
Okay. Seeker Elsa gets ushered away. Though before she goes, I think she will do a little insight check. on Kai.
Oh,
Okay.
Mhm.
Seeker.
girl.
Give me 1 second.
Ma'am. Oh!
God,
I
what,
think
what'd she say?
I think Seeker Elsa pauses and just quietly takes Kai's hand and says, "Whatever your business with her, please be kind to her."
I intend to be.
She gives you a little pat on the head, like just brushes some of the hair away from your eye patch and says, "Good." And then lets you be. Walks off with Luca.
Kai watches them go, adjusts his hair a bit, and leans against the wall again and waits.
Make a perception check. You hear some shuffling in the room. And then about 5 minutes later, Geraldine exits, closing the door behind her. Huh. I wasn't expecting to see you here.
I had something I wanted to ask you.
Well then, ask away.
What is your business with Edmund Beckett?
She raises an eyebrow. We'll make an insight check.
What do I have to roll against that? Kai is always rolling against this kind of stuff.
I think it's deception to hide emotion.
Yeah, that tracks.
Ooh.
What is your business with Edmund Beckett?
I
I
stares
sense
at her.
some animosity.
I have been involved in past jobs that have not ended well.
Well, then you'll be pleased to hear that my business with Sir Edmund Beckett of Sharn is precisely none.
Kai nods.
He offered me a loan. She glances back at the door. I declined, and I have declined every offer since.
He's been persistent, then.
No, he only offered the once, but others have made similar offers.
Of similar persuasions?
It hardly matters.
Tarek's work will remain with you regardless.
Indeed.
Kai nods.
Is that all you wanted to ask me?
A curiosity. If this man means so much to you, why did you neglect to attend the debut of The Folly?
I had other business to attend, I believe I said.
I'm aware. Obviously, I am asking for more details.
Then I'm afraid you'll be left wanting.
Were you with him?
Who does Kai mean by him? Tarek?
Tarek.
I'm afraid that's a mystery for another time.
Is it?
Shit.
Roll? She wasn't with him
Yeah.
that night. She was elsewhere entirely.
Kai nods. She's off the wall. Thank you for your time. Going to move to walk away now.
I think Meraldine senses that she hasn't convinced you and says, "Do you suspect me?"
Kai peers back. I suppose that is a mystery for another time.
And if I told you that the reason I wasn't there on that night is because I was having an affair with somebody else, what would you say to that? Oop, that was supposed to be hidden, but whatever.
Oh. That hardly seems like you.
You hardly know me, darling.
Perhaps. Guy, still unconvinced, turns away.
And you leave.
Come on. Affair is like hot gossip. It would have been in the tabloids. Come on,
Only
sweetie.
if you get discovered. Only if you get
Yeah.
discovered.
It's not impossible.
Anyway.
I know. I imagine
now-
Secret Elsa and Luca were waiting for Kai elsewhere.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. We return to a hotel room in the Gold Dragon earlier that morning. Our soul shifter artificer left to their own devices. While the others attend to business. What you up to, Willow?
You know, after the day they had, after the weeks they've had, I think
Mhm.
Willow's sleeping in today. Like, I'm sure these guys left a little earlier to pick up Elsa and do all of
Mhm.
that preparation stuff. And, like, Willow was probably still in bed when they
Mhm.
left.
Mhm.
And I think they're going to try and stay there as long as... No, how do I say? I don't think they're trying to stay there. You know, the day after the murder happened, Willow had that
Mhm.
moment in the morning where they woke up and felt like, I'm not moving today. And it's not like it's an active thought. It's just like this isn't happening. I'm just like
I can't
unable
move
to
today.
proceed. Yeah. It's that. It's like it's come back after they fought it off. The last time they, you know, of course they were like, I don't have time for this. I rolled onto their back and did their Star Touch Wonder and tried to get back into it. But today there is just no compulsion to do that at all.
Mm.
So I just imagine they're kind of like, even if they do wake up, they're just like lying on their side, like they could sleep through it.
Mhm.
And like, but of course their mind's awake when they do wake up.
Yeah.
It's just like thinking of, they know where the others have gone. They're alone in this room. They can sleep in today because they're alone in this room. No one here to like, you know, bother them.
Mhm.
I put air quotes around that, bother them, because bother them also means like, you know,
Keep them
incentivizing
company.
them. Yeah. Dropping off fruit and water and, you know, perceiving them in a way that makes it hard to be like this.
Mhm.
But like, it's hard not to, they're going to be thinking of, they're thinking of Tarek. They know that those guys are gone to go to the meeting that they
Mhm.
aren't strong enough to attend, which is
Mhm.
heavy thought. a meeting with the person that they couldn't bring themselves to speak to properly on the night of the murder. And I'm sure like it occurs to them briefly, like maybe if they had spoken differently to Tarek, he wouldn't have died. That's a thought that jumps up. They try and push it away, but they're not making a massive effort today.
Yeah.
You know? It's that kind of like, it occurs to them, they rationally know that's a silly thought process, that's not helping anybody. But it's like, well, what you gonna do about it? And it just kind of joins the mess, and their mind's just like sliding through so many different things to slide off that thought to Damon. The unending problem of communication with Damon, but like the specific thought that keeps occurring to them is how he looked when they spoke on Willow's boat. Like the heavy way that he looked when he was describing his mission to save his brother. Like how that's bearing down on them is like, how could they say no? How could they leave him waiting? But then also like, how could they possibly say yes, knowing what yes means in this instance? And God, if I may just continue describing, because I'm imagining like a very distinct spiral.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. I imagine mine slides off that to the same position of like Damon sitting at the table, like weighing down the boat. Like the boat could have sunk under the weight of Damon's misery in that situation as Willow perceives it. Then replaced by Luca after their other conversation where he was looking unfavorably at Willow's decision not to go back home. With that same kind of, how could you say no? Not for Damon's sake, but for your own sake. How could you say no? For the sake of your family or everyone that was like waiting for you. That kind of thing is occurring to them. Then continuing on from that, spiraling back to the same thing they've been thinking of. Well, specifically since Tarek died, but also like all the time, every day.
Yeah.
Because like even if it's not at the forefront of their mind, it's been weighing on them anyway. Which is like what they mentioned to Warfred that time immediately after the morning. Well, not immediately after the morning, because Willow was too far away for it to be immediate news. It was from the news and then the people, the boatloads of people that started showing up at whatever dock they were at. And like the thought that a lot of the people arriving probably weren't refugees when they hopped on their ship, but now return as that. And Willow like remembers the sound, I suppose, of all of them arriving and like realizing they've been displaced, like their home is gone, they're at a new dock. And Willow wants to help, and they help. Like they remember helping even though their glasses weren't refined yet and their vision was still messed up from the injury. And they're like constant migraines for the entire time that they're trying, but they have to. So they need to do that. That's how they've always been. It's what their family's always done. And then just that memory's gonna just lock in with where Willow's spiraling into today. Just like the people they spoke to, the first return to sender letter that happened, like the letter they sent home, but the post wasn't working, so it's like it returned. Did it return because their home is no longer there, or did it return because the courier service is down because of the mass movement of a nation trying to recover from that, or trying to just deal with the immediate aftermath? And then like the asking the survivors about home, and then if no one knows anything, like not wanting to ask anymore. Ugh. Just not wanting to like steady loss of ability to help them because they can't tolerate what the things that they say or what they don't say, and just the feeling of being around. Until eventually they just leave. And it's just nothingness until recently, really. It's just that constant loop. It was just going back into that guilt cycle.
Make a perception check with disadvantage. Because you are deep
Hmm.
in your own head.
Disadvantage, perception.
Hey. Still good. You hear footsteps outside your door, and the sound of a folded piece of paper being slipped under the door jamb. You probably recognize the sound of his boots by now.
Is it Damon?
Yep.
That's us. Because I think the last thought I was imagining was just it wasn't even a lot of the thoughts were centered around the post-morning time at that random dock.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine like the last thought being Willow mentioned their brother the day before. I feel like that's, in case it's not clear, that's part
Yeah.
of why they are spiraling so hard, because they mentioned out loud to Damon, like, your brother is lucky.
Yeah.
Here's why, and this spiral is why. Ish. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine like the last thought before the note comes through being a memory of not only having to be in a cart with Cedar and drive past
Mm-hmm.
people struggling, like that there was no option to help, but also Cedar going out of his way to help people that had come into their town.
Yeah.
And like literally that being the thought punctuated by a note coming through the door, almost interrupting, is like I think it's going to take a bit for Willow to convince themselves to look at it. They don't feel like answering mail at this time or even thinking about what's happened now. But at the same time, I don't think they were expecting to hear from Damon. So it has kind of... That's interesting, in a way. It's pinged to their thoughts. And I think they've been lying there for like hours.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have. It's a bit past 11. It's almost noon at this point.
Lord. Okay. I'll say that perception... Can that perception be enough to help make them check?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Willow gets up with that same kind of dizzy energy of like when you've overslept.
Yeah. Also, like,
Hmm.
Willow is probably vaguely uncomfortable and hungry, and
Yeah.
this is just giving you a reason to like go tend to your physical needs.
Yeah.
After
don't think-
putting
I
them
think-
off for hours.
Yeah. I think Willow's going to like do their rounds, their baseline rounds of like,
Yeah. Drink
I am
water,
a
use
person.
bathroom,
yeah.
eat a piece of fruit, something.
Yeah. Yeah. They're very brain dead when they're doing this.
Yeah.
It's autopilot stuff, but
Yeah.
nevertheless, at the end of it, when there's nothing else to do, they certainly aren't going to look at their mind map. They don't want to write a journal. And
Yeah.
they have no leads for the day ahead, so whatever. They're just going to, like, almost out of habit, pick up the note, flip it open, give it a look.
Show you the note. Would you like to read it out loud?
Can you be the Damon voice in my mind reading it?
Okay, then.
Thank you.
So, the note says, "Hey, I think I've figured out a way for us to work together. If you're uncomfortable with me offering unconditional help, then I can give you some conditions for things I'd rather not do. So, here are my conditions. Don't ask me to fight your battles, with a sword or otherwise. If I don't want to answer a question, I'll tell you so. If I can't answer a question yet, I'll tell you so. Don't fight me over the bill when we're buying lunch. It's annoying. If that's all good with you, or if it's not, let me know. I'm open to negotiation. Damon."
despite themselves, that it's annoying actually makes Willow not laugh, but like scoff. It's kind of almost a laugh. The whole note strikes them as quite unbelievable to have received in a way that I don't think they put into words until they stare at it for a bit and realize this works, actually. Like, maybe it's too soon to say, but like I feel like it occurs to them like, wait a minute, maybe it doesn't work, but it doesn't not work. This is actually,
It's worth trying.
this is a solution. Yes. And Willow's like, okay. While their cogs are slowly starting up again to process this idea that this is a solution provided by a person that they like. Honestly, Damon said to keep trying, but Willow was in no position to try today, and the idea that somebody else came to the solution themselves means that, and then it like clicks to Willow after a long pause, he understood what they said. Like he actually understood them.
Yeah. Took a while, but hey.
He understood them well enough to know that the solution to this problem was providing some conditions, at least.
Yeah.
And I think that is like a... What? For Willow, that's... The weight that's been settling on them all morning, of course it doesn't all lift, but a portion of it...
It eases.
Yeah, it stops crushing them on, like, actively pressing down on them. I feel like
It's like somebody else has grabbed the other handle of the bag that you've been carrying.
Yeah. Huh. Willow's shocked, I think. I'm just gonna plop onto the chair and just like read it over again.
Mm-hmm.
Despite themselves, they may actually grab their pen out of their pocket and write some notes on the sheet, but I think there's like a sense of disbelieving amusement about this.
Mm-hmm.
With an undercurrent of such a profound feeling that I don't think they can look at it without.
Yeah.
Or they can even articulate what that is yet.
Yeah.
Early days. But
It's
a contract.
something.
They can deal with a contract. Everything else, that non-tangible massive grief that is, and guilt and whatever the hell is pervading, that's... Ugh. But this is tangible and workable.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are achievable conditions.
Yeah. Okay. He gets it. That's okay. Okay, I think Willow's going to spend some time going over that quite fine, with a fine-tooth comb. Though there is an element of they might just be trying to return to speed before responding to it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because
it's not like he's standing outside the door waiting for you to answer. He left the note and moved on.
Yeah.
So
Willow's going to amend that however they see fit, with intention to probably return it to him today.
Cool. How long do you think it takes for Willow to get back into gear?
I was like, it'll take a while, like 30 minutes. Willow's sense of time is so dumb.
Zonked.
I don't know, I'm thinking like it's not like he switched off the feeling of the day, but it is just something to think about and focus on. It certainly helps with solving the mystery, because if they can work together, then it does resolve a lot of the dare I say overwhelming loneliness of the situation. Hopelessness. Sorry, did I say loneliness? I meant hopelessness. Don't read into that. Is 45 minutes too soon or too much? No? Because I'm thinking like 30 minutes to write it out, think their thoughts, make sure that they're level-headed about it, and then like 15 minutes to freshen up and make sure that they are functional.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I'll push it to an hour just so that they can have breakfast.
Yeah. You have late brunch.
Yeah. Breakfast, only because they haven't eaten yet.
Yeah. Breakfast is relative.
Yeah.
But according
They
to
wanna
the
make sure
hotel
they-
menus, it's brunch.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Is that too soon? I don't know if it feels like I'm jumping too soon.
No, I think you spent like 4-5 hours
Brooding?
having a downward spiral, and now you've leveled out and are starting to climb again. I think that's fine.
Okay. So you reckon I could return it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Willow's just, as long as you know, Willow is like only going when they feel they are steady. They have made a promise to themselves they're not going to approach Damon if they feel unstable. And I'm just like, whatever's realistic for the depth of shit they were at this morning to level back out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, let's go. Probably an hour is enough so that they don't lose their nerve as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or start overthinking.
Yep.
Okay. They're going as Willow.
Okay.
No coggers.
Cool.
They knock. And they don't want to look like they've had a miserable morning.
Mhm.
You know? They don't want Damon to immediately see, hey, have you been crying for the past 5 hours? No.
No. Yeah. I think there's a brief moment, and Damon opens the door and says, "Hey."
Willow can't help it. There is such a... Do an insight check.
Okay. Damon's character sheet minimized
Oh, I thought you rolled
weirdly.
another one.
Hold on. No.
I thought so too, honestly.
I rolled a 2! I was waiting for that.
13
Oh,
total.
do I have to roll anything? What's my baseline thing?
Your baseline charisma is like -1, so it would be a 9.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. That's how you measure it. Okay. I think can I roll a persuasion?
You can.
Okay. If Willow's trying to keep their shit together. Okay. God damn it.
Good. That's a very good roll for you.
Spent
Thanks.
all that time putting yourself together, and it was worth it.
Yeah. Just so the audience knows. Oh no, it's alright. Don't worry. I won't tell you. Unless you want me to.
You can tell me
yeah.
later.
Alright.
What does Damon see?
Willow looking pretty normal without their mask on. And they have refolded the notes.
Mm-hmm.
And they hold it up. And probably just say, received your letter.
Uh-huh. Damon stands aside so that you can walk into his room if you like. So you're not
Okay,
hanging out
cool.
in the hallway if you don't want to be.
No, it's not a hallway
He's learned that
conversation.
much.
Yeah. Yeah, Willow will enter. Is a globe here?
Yeah, it's on his desk.
Willow's going to gesture to that first and foremost. You should really hide that before you open the doors.
I knew it was you.
Of course. with your supersonic hearing. Supersonic a thing. Anyway. So, your contract.
What'd you think of it?
I'll admit it's a clever solution to the issues that have availed us for ever. But it's good. I just have a few amendments.
Go ahead. Like I said, I'm open to negotiation.
So this first one, when you say don't ask me to fight your battles, what does that entail?
Well, don't ask me to go beat up some guy.
Oh, so don't make you into a hitman.
Yeah.
Does assisting with a murder case help with fighting... Sorry, rather, does that count as fighting my battles?
Depends on the situation, I guess.
For example, if you end up in a combat situation as a result of my presence or a request that I've made, does that count as me asking you to fight my battle?
If it's a combat situation that you didn't anticipate, I'm just gonna call that unlucky.
But if there is a combat situation that I do anticipate, I cannot request your assistance.
Don't ask me to go beat somebody up, basically.
Okay, if that's it, then the rest is... I never intended to use you for that anyway. Or to use you at all. Anyway, so what I'm... Willow's going to return to the note. If that is all, then that seems reasonable.
The other thing, I guess, that don't fight your battles entails is me asking me to hand you the solution to a problem like that, you know?
What do you mean?
I'm not gonna do your homework for you.
Will you answer questions of curiosity that you may be a resource for?
I believe that falls under the questions clauses.
Oh, so that includes, of course, my questions about silly things, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. That seems fair. And can't answer a question yet. That sounds fair. You could have just underlined the yet if you wanted it to stand out. What's his vibe? Willow keeps making sly little jokes, but they're not sure if he's like...
I think Damon is like, he lightly rolls his eyes at the underlining comment.
Yeah.
Because in meta, Zeke meant to underline that, but I forgot.
No, but it's bigger. The yet is bigger text.
It is. It is in all caps.
Yeah. So Willow's just saying, if you wanted it to stand out, basically you could put neon sign lights around it if you really wanted me to catch that. They're just being a shit, but that's funny. And okay, so Willow's going to go through it. Don't hire you as a hitman. Don't abuse your academic skill, I suppose. You have the right to refuse any questions. And this one, I'd like to organize some sort of alternating alternating schedule of food payment.
We could play rock, paper, scissors for it.
Willow gives a little smirk, like anyway. They will turn away. That's the kind of smirk that they give, and then they like nod. That sounds fair.
All right then.
Best of 3.
No,
Just 1.
just one.
Willow will write that down on the contract. Well,
If you're
that
all good,
seems rather fair to me.
you got
Then,
any terms of your own you want to add to that? Or should we shelve that for another day?
Willow's going to. I think when he asks that, they are signing,
Mm-hmm.
and then they fold it up and they hand it back to him, and say, "I think this will do for now."
All right then. Shall we shake on it? Damon
Certainly
offers a
polite.
hand.
Yep. And Willow will, feeling a weight just sort of lift off their shoulders, accept the handshake.
Yeah. Your gloved hands meet in the middle. God, Damon's hands are big. But
Aw.
his handshake is firm, not too firm.
I was gonna say, Willow noticed the big of hands when the first time when he tried to be nice to them at the nesting quail, and I feel like
Yeah.
that moment briefly blips across their mind too. But this is
Different.
better. They ran from that, proving all of their points that they were miserable about this morning. But here they have approached and are standing stable, if not stronger, for it.
Yeah. All right then. Say, have you had lunch today?
Willow's mind went, breakfast. I could have more.
Should we get out of the hotel then?
Willow will nod, and I think like coming back from the handshake, they're going to gesture like for a rock paper scissors. Shall we get ahead of
Okay.
the counter?
Okay. In which case, I'm going to ask for opposing insight checks. Damon wins with a 25.
Damn.
Did you roll a nat 20 on that?
You don't get to know.
I'll eat. Okay, Willow
It's
clicks
a dirty
the tongue.
24.
Yeah. Willow clicks their tongue and will shake their head, but fair's fair. It's in the contract.
Right. Let's head out.
Your shout. Willow pops on the Cognaut mask and will follow out, feeling lighter.
Cool. We skip forward in time a bit. So Luca and Audrey need to go meet up with Brina de Medani. Where is Seeker Elsa going in the meantime? I think you guys probably head back to the Gold Dragon and set up her room.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you guys are not letting her pay for her own room for the
Absolutely
night.
not.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
So, we'll get her a room and help her.
Yes, let me quickly look at what the inn stay is. 8 silver pieces.
Cool. Well, I don't know if Luca's gonna force Audrey and Kai to split that. But yeah, Audrey would be happy to, and would be happy to.
Yeah, sorry, Sarah had to step away briefly. So.
Yes, so I'm flying by the seat of my pants here, but we can determine that later. Either way, it's being
Yes.
covered by Luca and to some degree.
Yeah.
Either Luca's paying
Yes.
for all of it, or I doubt Luca's gonna let N pay for all of it. So they're either gonna split or.
Yeah. All good.
I can pay for my own granny. Thank you, Audrey.
Fine.
Was it 8 silver?
Yes.
Thank you.
Cool. You let Sika Elsa rest and get comfortable, and you are going to pop over to the Morning Guild in the meantime while she
Yeah.
sets up.
Yep.
I think Willow probably left a note that they're out for lunch but should be back soon.
Sure. Well,
I don't know if they would, but I'm sure you guys would know they're not doing anything nefarious.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've established that if you're gonna do something dangerous, please let us know. So
Yeah, they would let you know.
we'll just
you need to
assume.
dread the note.
Yeah.
The note would be like, "Hi, going to Wilfred's, bye."
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll just assume that Willow's not
Yeah.
here. Willow's doing Willow stuff. That's fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I think
So,
probably on the way we fill each other in message. En's gonna probably, or Audrey's probably gonna read the scribe note, the scriber notes as they walk
yes.
in complete fucking silence, I might add.
Yeah.
Audrey is just reading, not really even looking where she's going. She's kind of depending on Luca to like bust his way through any obstacles that might get in the way or stop her. She is laser focused on that scribe,
Yeah.
and she will also like fill Luca in a bit on what Kai picked up
Miriam.
on,
Yeah.
but also like let's not make that an outstanding feature when we talk to Brina.
Mm-hmm.
What's Andrew's vibe while they're reading the note?
I don't know, Luca, what is it?
I don't
It's
know.
a check.
Should I roll? Yep. Fuck me, I am rolling awfully today.
You are making sure Audrey doesn't like bump into anybody.
She's
as you
very
walk down.
absorbed in her reading. She's very engrossed in what she's reading.
Yeah.
I'm walking for the two of us.
Yes.
I imagine like either Luca has Audrey by the elbow or Audrey has Luca by the elbow, like a little sort of lady
Yeah.
holding gentleman's arm as she is escorted down the busy streets while deeply entrenched in this
Yeah.
note.
Yeah. Maybe having that physical comfort is helpful right now. But Luca
Yeah.
doesn't understand that.
No, because
Luca
he's
is-
walking.
Yeah, he's just walking.
Luca is making sure they don't get lost.
Good
Or
job,
trip.
Luca.
Yeah. Cool. So, you make your way back to the Inquisitive's office.
Yep. Say hi to Celia.
Yep.
Ask for some tea and head to Brina, assuming she's here.
Yep, Brina is here. Brina is here with her sleeves rolled up, her jacket off, and a pin board
Oh.
Oh,
In-
wow.
in assembly.
Audrey
All
comes
right.
in and gazes up at it. Wow, you've been busy.
Yeah, I figured that it'd be good to have all the relevant information where it's easy to see at a glance. Anyway, how'd it go this morning?
Well, certainly enlightening, I would say. Looks at
Luca
Luca.
nods.
Excellent.
We got it all right here. Holds up the scriber that Audrey has not let go of since Luca gave it to her.
Fantastic. Can I see?
Absolutely. It is yours. Audrey will
Yeah.
dance across the room and hand it to Brina.
Brina does a brief skim of it and says, "Well, suppose I shouldn't have expected anything less from somebody whose title was poet. But this is good. I'll read over this, make sure I get all the pertinent details. How is Captain Frostroot?
Ah, you know, she's a little hard to read. She's doing her best to hold it together, but this does seem like it's rough on her.
Yeah, tell me about it. It's been a hell of a time getting an appointment with her to ask for further testimony, but I feel like this is the first foot in the door. This will be good for asking any relevant questions.
Yes, she mentioned a few details about her movements during the gallery. They should be on the scribe as well.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. Right, well. This is good. Speaking of Frostroot, I actually have a couple of interviews lined up in the coming days. I think the captain finally responded to my letter asking for appointment. Should be, day after tomorrow? Tomorrow? I need to check my calendar. Today's what day is it again?
It's the 27th.
Right, then it'll be tonight's the memorial. Yeah, tomorrow I've got an interview with Captain Lutila Feyruz. She's apparently a friend of Frostroot, and then the day after, hold on, let me just check. No, the day after Feyruz is leaving the port, that account, and after the appointment with Feyruz, I've got an appointment with Captain Frostroot, and I'll see if I can try and persuade her to allow a bit of an investigation of Mr. Ellen's apartment, see if there were any traces left behind of the conspiracy and that sort.
Yes, considering the poisoning, I think it would be prudent to have a look through Tarek's things.
Exactly my thought.
Audrey nods.
I'll see if I can't get you, either two of you or one of you at least, in on examining the apartment as an assistant of mine.
Yes, well, 2 pairs of eyes are better than one, or I suppose 1.5. Depends.
Luca.
Audrey gestures between Luca and Audrey.
Brina does a little nod. Anyway, I'll take my time reading over this and formulate my next plan of action.
Yes.
You all head into the... Oh, sorry, you first.
I don't mean to interrupt, but speaking of other pairs of eyes, I actually had a thought regarding the testimonies.
Yeah?
Well, you see, and Audrey's gonna pull out her notes and flip through them and flip back to notes about Warfred. Here, he's quoted saying, "After that declaration, the bidding room was opened and I joined the crowd. But before that, I did see Tarek and Frostroot arguing. That doesn't line up with what I saw that night."
Oh, really?
Yes, he mentions seeing Tarek and Meraldine arguing. But Gil was with the couple, witnessing that argument moments before we entered the auction together. They didn't see Warfred, but I saw Warfred in the auction hall already. So how did he know Tarek and Meraldine argued before the auction?
Well spotted. That
Audrey
right
nods.
there sounds like a contradiction.
It certainly does.
Hmm.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Hmm?
Never did get a statement from that, work colleague of yours.
No? Did Gil never make a statement?
I don't think they were capable of it at the time, but
Yes, I recall they were in quite a state.
We will ask and see if they're up for it. But I make no promises.
think you could persuade them?
Yeah, I'll certainly do my best.
That's all I can ask for.
Speaking of resources,
Mhm.
what could Madani offer for stakeout purposes?
Stakeout purposes?
Mm-hmm.
I guess depends on the situation.
Well, I'm just curious about Mr. Bartosh. I don't want to keep an eye on him. I was just curious what we have at our disposal for such a task.
Well, if I need to keep an eye on somebody and I want to be discreet about it, well, that's what Peter's for.
But if you were busy... Or would you let me borrow him for such a task?
Sure, I can loan him. He's pretty independent if he needs to be.
Oh. Perfect. Then I may do so in the near future.
Just let me know.
Of course. What am I gonna do? Grab him and stuff him in a bag and run off?
Luca makes a face.
Kind of don't think that'll work out in your favor.
Exactly why I wouldn't do it. I know my limits.
Brina seems to take that in and have a little pause, and she changes the subject. So, bit of a change of subject, but are you two attending the memorial tonight?
Yes,
Luca nods.
not wearing this particular face, but I will be there.
Good to know. I'm planning on going as well.
Ah. Well, that's nice
Try
of you.
not to bring up, work too much, but yeah.
Well, it's certainly a good place to try and gather information.
She nods.
But we
So-
must respect that it is a memorial.
Of course. But I suppose I'll see you there then. Just so you're not surprised if I show up.
All right, well, I look forward to it.
See you there then.
Mm-hmm. And if it looks like we're going to start to part, I don't know if Luca's going to say anything. I think Audrey's lingering a bit, like they might want to say something to Brina.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to leave?
If you want to just step out and I'll catch up. Unless you
Okay.
have something you want to add.
No, I will leave. I will make my exit.
All right. Bye, Luca.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, like, Luca steps out and Audrey's the one to close the door. But, like,
Okay.
bye! But, like, it's the actual intention is, like, it's purposeful. Like, Audrey's intentionally staying behind. And in, like, privately, like, it's a private thing. And that's why they're closing the door. And they'll turn and look at Brina. And what's her vibe?
She's expecting you want to say something.
Audrey takes a deep breath and her hand slides off the doorknob and she'll cross the room back to Brina.
So, I've been picking up hints that perhaps you might be interested in a story I left half told.
Yeah, I was meaning to ask you about that, but just couldn't find the right moment to bring it up. Figured I might do it after the memorial, maybe over some drinks. Seems like the sort of thing that would be, better done with some liquid courage in you, huh?
You read my mind.
And Audrey peers down towards the scriber, which I imagine is like still on the desk.
Mm-hmm.
And like her finger plays with the edge of the paper.
Yes, I think liquid courage would do it.
Gives Brina a smile, but it's a little more tired.
Brina nods in understanding. After the memorial then, or you want some now before the
I'll be
moment's
alright.
past?
I'll be fine. Thank you for your concern. After the memorial sounds perfect.
All right, then. Well, I'll catch you later then, Miss Audrey.
See you later, detective.
First round's on me.
I'll hold you to it.
Audrey backs away from the desk and seems to like keep an eye on Brina a bit longer than usual. She's a bit less carefree in her emotions, just a little bit more stiff as she moves to the door and slides on out.
I think Brina politely averts her gaze down to the paper as if she's started reading it again, and then glances back up at you as you leave.
Yeah. Audrey's still like peeking through the gap in the door as she closes it and gives like a little wave as they catch their eyes at the last moment and clicks it.
Brina gives a sort of reverse nod of acknowledgement. Later.
Yeah, and Audrey will leave. And remain Audrey probably on her way back to Luca.
Yep.
Everything all right?
Everything's fine. I'm just, figuring out exactly how I want to proceed with the lady detective.
Toasty little. Oh my lord. If I don't roll a 15 this episode,
You've rolled a couple of 15s.
I just rolled a 15 math insult injury.
I'm going to poop everywhere.
Audrey smiles.
Yep, okay. Sure, everything's fine. Okay.
And you can also make educated guesses as Luca. How much,
Yeah.
I mean, as far as that'll take you as Luca.
What's educated?
You have faith that
N will tell me.
You have faith that N will tell you, and that N is doing their best. And that you are friends, and if N is having problems, they will come to you for help.
Yep.
I mean, Audrey held your arm the whole walk there.
Oh. Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah. I'm a big handsome walk boy.
Walkman, I think, is what they're called.
All right. It's Audrey's going to remain Audrey, probably all the way back to the little dragon.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah. Probably playfully continues to hold Luca's arm. And she's doing it. This time she's not like laser focused on reading. She's just like doing it for fun, it seems.
Yeah.
Making jokes
Well,
about
let
it
me
and swaying
home.
and yeah.
Ha ha ha, big walk boy. Hee hee hee. I'm okay. Ha ha ha, my life is fine. Hee hee hee.
Audrey,
Uh-huh.
when we return to salvage, I think I need your help with something.
Oh, little old me.
Mm-hmm. And maybe a few others.
Oh.
Mm.
Well,
I need
good
your
luck convincing
talents.
Kai.
Oh, he'll do whatever I say. He has to. Got no choice.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that about you two.
He has to stay on my good side. He knows that.
Really?
Mm.
Well, that's not what I've heard, but...
Oh, he talks about me, does he?
Oh, we all talk in here, Luca.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's a party all the time.
Mm. And I'm not invited?
It would be very hard to invite you, Luca.
There's not much up here to invite.
I think there are other boundaries in the way.
I don't see any.
Oh, congratulations. Do I get to know what I'm about to, join hand in cahoots with?
Mm-hmm. I need to do something for Willow.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I'm going to fade the scene out there.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. Speaking of Willow, can I transition into a Willow scene?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think Willow and Damon, because Willow can't eat, but I don't think it doesn't feel right to go back to the rooms. So like, could they
I
go
think
back
what
to
you
that
do-
place? Oh,
I think what you do is like you get some takeaway and then like find some rooftop or secluded place in Regalport where you can have like a picnic lunch.
yeah. I was gonna say, could we go back to that same balcony that we chilled at before?
Yeah.
Because that faced the beach and it seemed pretty quiet and secluded.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Willow will obviously do their checks and stuff before they take off their mask.
Mm-hmm.
Perception.
Damon will
Can I use
do
fish-
a little. Yeah.
Can I use fish dog for advantage?
Sure. Coast is clear. Damon says.
Willow nods and then takes down their mask. And I just imagine them sitting on the ground to eat, really,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
on this roofy balcony, whatever this is.
Yep.
Willow's looking at the sea, because it was specifically a balcony that overlooked the horizon a bit,
Yeah.
or a rooftop area that overlooked the horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I imagine it's comfortably quiet for a bit. It's comfortably quiet, right?
It's like a little more noisy than it was last time because of the time of day. But like you're distant enough from things that it's just like ambient noise. Like
Mhm. I
you
actually
can hear
meant with-
distant. Oh,
Okay.
with Damon or
Yeah, what can I hear though in the distance?
it's just like ambient chatter of like people going about their daily errands. Some ships in the harbor.
Hmm.
A couple of people doing rope work and communicating, that sort of thing.
Hmm.
Some gulls.
That's all nice ambient sound. That's anchoring
Yeah.
Willow in something. Like it feels specifically useful too because that's all the kinds of memories they were having this morning, but it's like focusing on the better parts of the memories. Like yeah, they're
Mhm.
remembering dockside misery, but now they're, at a dock. Breathing in the sea air, kind of recalibrating in a big way. And yeah, comfortably quiet with Damon is what I meant
Yeah.
for a bit.
Just the sounds of eating and like
Chilling.
rustling a paper bag.
Yeah. I think after a while of eating and like comfy quiet, Willow will suggest or say, is it too soon to start asking questions?
Well, I've set out my conditions, so.
You can always refuse to answer them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then no harm in asking.
Mm-hmm.
Would you happen to know of any memory-altering magic, or just something of the sort?
I guess.
It doesn't count as you doing my homework for me if I ask for your insights, does it?
Depends on the question.
Oh, I thought I asked it.
Oh, what kind of memory altering stuff? Well, off the top of my head, there's some, I guess, substances that have a magical effect that would, give you some weird blurriness. Other than that, nothing I can think of that would be, let's say, easily accessible.
What is the difficult to access answer then?
I'm afraid that's you doing homework.
Where would I find answers to that? Other than the library.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Probably magical universities that deal with enchantment magic.
Willow kind of like smirks to themselves again, like, so he's telling me to go back to uni, okay? I already went to a magical university to figure things out.
I meant like he's talking about it like you go to a university for certain research papers.
Yeah. No. But Willow still does a little smirk, like, yeah, I'm being directed by an academic back to a schooling. Like, of course.
Yeah. Other than that, dunno. Ask House Thorani, maybe they know something. He says that as like mostly a joke.
Willow sharply looks at him. Why House Thorani?
Because they're spies and assassins, and making people forget about seeing stuff seems like it'd be in their wheelhouse. I was kidding, mostly, but...
Willow gives that
he shrugs.
face. Willow's like finger like over their mouth as they are considering that possibility very deeply. Like he's obviously kidding, but Willow's like internalizing that.
Since they're around, I mean... Honestly, I haven't paid that much attention to, he gestures, that aspect.
Nor have I. So it might be time to start.
Mind you, don't bite off more than you can chew.
No, I'm already thoroughly beyond that point.
Still, you could stop yourself from choking more.
I think I'm on a steady downward slope at present.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you.
I'd never. Could I ask another question?
Yep, and that is another question.
Oh. Okay. Big eye roll. Okay, so innate magic. Willow's like sort of tapping their brow and thinking. Memory altering magic, the innate ability to cast fear might also kind of fall under that umbrella. Could I ask that question? If he knows anything that would have the innate ability to cast fear?
Well,
Oh, I can't ask him? Okay.
he was actually going to say, well,
Oh.
dragons are famously pretty fucking scary. Other than that, I don't know, I'm afraid.
Say, does that mean that dragons cast fear or that dragons cause fear?
Kind of both.
He meant it as both. Is he responsible for asking that?
Yeah, he says, a dragon's roar has the ability to strike fear into hearts, and it is it's not just a noise, it is imbued with power, let's say.
Is that the same sort of power that could burden someone with a... Oh, I suppose your life flashes before your eyes in those contexts, so that might be more or less the same. I suppose the lines of magic are blurred.
They do tend to be that way. Try as we might as to categorize things.
Can Willow do 2 more, I don't know, intelligence checks based on like just their chatting with Damon? See if anything is like dislodging? Or
What are you trying to figure out?
their own answers to the questions.
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm musing, mulling it over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suppose the only dragon at the event was that statue.
If you could call it a dragon.
I don't think Willow doesn't know why he laughed at it, huh?
No. Do you want to
Okay, I
do an
think
insight
Willow-
check now?
If not, they might just ask him.
Damon is like genuinely like you heard that scoff of laughter. It's pretty
And
easy to like read into that and be like, oh, the reason why he reacted that way to that thing is because it was not very good.
I was probably going to say, oh, was it anatomically incorrect?
That's putting it kindly.
In what sense?
Have you ever seen a kid try to make a wooden model of a horse?
Willow laughs and then kind of like looks out at the sea a bit, like something has occurred to them, and they nod. I have.
Well, imagine if they put the horse's legs on backwards. And also made its head, the shape of a, I don't know, deer or something.
Is Damon in the mood for inside checks?
Mm,
He doesn't have
he'll
to.
do a. If Willow falls silent for too long, he might do a check.
I don't know if they're silent for that long, but they are just kind of like not poignant either. Just like looking out at the sea rather than looking at him.
Mm-hmm.
And
He'll do a little glance.
they don't look sad about it, but they're just distant a bit.
20.
Oh. I didn't expect you to win so immediately. Okay, there's like a distant... Willow's remembering something quite vividly.
Mm-hmm.
Something else. Obviously not dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Probably something personal.
Yeah. I think Damon lets it lie.
That's fine. Willow will snap out of it anyway. Well, another loss for Alditharani. But only in the eyes of dragon slayers, so...
Yeah, not a lot of people would be able to catch him on that.
I think also the memory of the dragon statue. It is hard to talk about Errol and the statue without
Yeah.
the image of Tarek flashing across their
Yeah.
eyes again. They have been constantly thinking of his body, like suspended
Yeah.
from that dragon.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, Willow's that distant expression fades, and even their like the way they've been laughing at the way Damon talks about it fades, and they're going to like, with a bit more of a grave expression, say, "One more question."
Sure.
Have you heard of a Nothic?
Let's see if he has.
And I'm going to insight check.
Wow. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
That's a type of Delkir thing, isn't it? An aberration.
Willow tips their head. I'll admit I don't have much education on the matter, but I'd like to know.
Well, you familiar with the fall of the Takani Empire?
Willow laughs and nods. This is the story they regaled N with on the boat.
I recall.
Once for some light reading, for some casual chats. Yes, they are familiar with this. Willow nods.
Well, when the Delkir invaded, there were some of the more arcane-inclined goblinoids of that empire who, let's say, fell under the sway of the Delkir. They were lured in by promise of esoteric knowledge, and in pursuing the alien secrets, they ended up changing. What is that insight check for?
Just to see how he responded to the question, but no worries about it. And Willow's going to ask, changing in what way?
Some wizards who end up devoting their lives to unearthing arcane secrets in pursuit of power, immortality, that sort of thing. Instead of gaining everything they want, they end up reduced to creeping, cursed creatures.
And the Nothic is this type of creature or a type of creature specifically?
The Dakani Arcanists who ended up trying to uncover the secrets of the Dalkir for their own power instead ended up becoming twisted Dalkir-like creations themselves.
Willow nods. And just to confirm in meta, and those are called Nothics? Like, is that what
Yep.
he's saying? Okay,
Yep.
so the Nothic is not one kind of beast. It is like that generation of Arcanists that mutated.
It's more like it's a thing that can happen if
Right.
you become obsessed with uncovering Delkir's secrets, you become a Nothic through some weird curse or something like that.
Fuck. Shit. Fuck. Oh. Okay. Willow's going to nod.
Apparently, if you
Little
go
bit.
into Delkir ruins and stuff like that, you might end up either discovering some still lurking, looking for forbidden lore, or else some people who try and discover aspects of history best left forgotten end up digging a bit too deep and stumbling into magical curses left behind by things that defy mortal understanding.
Willow's like, their mouth goes dry for a sec as like a thought settles on them. And where would you look for this, in your opinion?
I wouldn't go looking for it, but biggest hotspots for Dalkir ruins are either way out in the Shadow Marches or in the realms below under the Moor Holds.
Yeah. That Willow doesn't say yeah out loud, but that settles on there. They needed him to say that out loud. Willow's now distinctly distant, not in a poignant way. Their minds somewhere else.
Hey, Willow. I said don't ask me to fight your battles, but don't go sticking your neck out where it's likely to get cut off, okay?
What's his vibe?
Warning you, but if you get into trouble, he is likely to save you.
Oh.
He's not just gonna let you die. But he'd prefer not to get to the point where he has to save you from letting you die. So I guess the vibe is concerned?
That's sweet. In its own way. Look, Willow's heart kind of just like locked into place. They're scared. I don't know if Damon can see that, but it like
I think
deep down
he
they
can.
are.
I think he can, and he's like, don't do things. Don't scare yourself too much. Don't risk your life for nothing.
Willow, hey, even with the heart stopped though, there is a little bit of heart warm of, oh, he gives a shit. That's we don't have time to unpack all of that. I think Willow's just going to say. So he said, "What? Don't stick your neck out where it's likely to get cut off."
Cut off? Yeah.
Yeah. I am already Uh.
What, you've already got your neck on the chopping block?
Willow kind of does a little head tilt that could be a nod, but also is like a kind of.
Why? You sure are busy. What, you baiting your murder suspect?
You
Does
talk
Willow
about you.
laugh?
Willow does do that laugh specifically. And they kind of look away.
You're kidding.
No.
Of course you are. Right, well... Don't die. Don't get
Oh,
murdered.
that's the plan. That is the plan. The plan is still being worked through, and I have more pieces now. So thank you. And I suppose it's pertinent to keep you posted anyway, so I can tell you about it if you'd like, as long as you're willing to let the plans roll along as they are currently sort of rolling.
As long as you don't mind telling me if you're doing something stupid.
No, it's all stupid.
Well, at least you're aware.
Like yourself?
Hey.
What?
He gives you sort of a, like...
We didn't even mean that in a bad
Hello.
way. It's just like, yeah.
Again, he's smiling through that hey.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it does the little, like, sheepish shoulder pull of, like, I didn't mean that as an insult, but I guess it kind of is, like, because the circumstances of him being like, oh, it's not a good plan, were about his, dying brother,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, it was just like, sorry, I didn't mean it like that.
Well, he's smiling, so it's not a big deal.
So I can freely tell him about the Warfred plan then, because he's smiling. Yeah. I think, yeah, well, it will take a deep breath and kind of explain their angle for Warfred to him.
Okay. So what is your angle for Warfred? I don't think you've explained it out loud on screen yet.
Oh, shall I roleplay it?
If you like.
Okay. All right. Well, I've never articulated it as well, so good luck. Anyway, Willow's going to say it. So on the evening, we met somebody who I suspect, or I think now we all suspect, was responsible for killing Tarek Elham, and I realized that person seemed to have an affinity for the misery of Mr. Elham and all related things, seemed to be fascinated with the death of Siri and all of that morbid stuff, as well as a number of other leads, but we didn't have any tangible evidence, so I decided to make an appointment with him to have a portrait done. Myself, the same way that he painted a portrait for Tarek, to see whether I could determine the modus operandi, so to speak, or the method that was in place. I did ask you about the death masks. I also left receipts with you so that if I didn't return from the appointment, there was at least some sort of indication of where I was. But then again, that was also put in place so that I could consider the possibility that if he did catch me out, I could say very bluntly to him, my employer knows that I am here, and if I go missing, then somebody will notice. So, and then that causes the problem of 2 Syrian survivors suddenly going missing because of a portrait being done with Warfred Bartosz. Nevertheless, all of that aside, I had contingencies planned. Some of them which were not very useful. I intended to hold the fact that I was a criminal as some sort of bartering chip if it became like clear that he was also participating in any kind of criminal activities, but he saw me actually steal the artifact from the antiquity, so that wasn't something I could use. In fact, it's
Damon is
something that
going
he
on
seems rather...
Damon is going on such a face journey while you are telling him this. Like, at first it's like a uh-huh, and then it's like a yikes, and then it's like a
And Willow's just continuing.
He's like sort of massaging the like spot between his eyebrows as Willow talks about it.
Yeah, Willow is literally like looking up and around while like floating their hand around near their face and just like making gestures. They're talking like they're presenting a slideshow, but like
Yeah.
without observing the audience at all. Like they could be pacing and
Yeah.
musing at this stage, but it's just
Yeah.
all kind of.
Yeah.
They're going to mention. In fact, he doesn't seem particularly interested in reporting me to the authorities, which I find more damning and probably more proof that he intends to use me in some sort of morbid, murdery way, or otherwise just drain out all of the intrigue that he can find, and then I don't know, cast me away. I'm not sure. It's I'm trying to set up multiple boundaries so that if I do go missing, then it is more damning for him than intended. But I do think that he is involved in things perhaps above even me. Willow looks at Damon then. What's his face like?
Great.
Hmm.
And this was your first option for trying to bait a murderer?
Yes. Well, simultaneously, I tried to make it so that En and Luca are investigating with the lady detective, so that it is we are covering all bases.
Yeah, that's less of a base and more of a you covering the entire outfield. And
Yes, well,
badly at that. I
I
forget how new you are to the whole danger thing. You don't really have much of a safety net in place, do you?
What does he mean by news of the whole danger thing?
Basically, he's calling you an amateur.
Willow's going to look frankly back at him with a little twitch of their ear, probably under their bandana. What makes you think I am new to the whole danger thing?
Well, you're sloppy, at best. What, you don't even have, like, a way of suspecting if you've been poisoned or tampered with? You don't have a safety net, a dead man switch for if you get got? And you trusted that somebody would notice your disappearance just if you didn't show up soon enough. If I'm to connect the dots here, and you suspect that this guy has something to do with Delcare bullshit, then you are wildly underprepared.
I think Willow goes from looking vaguely insulted to listening and taking it on board, and eventually looking to Damon with a nod and saying, honestly, that's why I was hoping for your help. I am by no means amateurish in other senses, but I will say that it is... I am making this up as I go, in a lot of ways, using the skills that I have and don't have.
Yeah.
I do what I can.
I was kind of hoping it would be just, a normal murder?
Of course not.
Of course not. Should have known that the moment you guys decided to get involved. Damon hums. First thing you should do is probably invest in what's it called? Politician's friend.
Do I know
It's a
what that is?
little.
Oh, he's gonna tell me.
You can make make an Arcana check. You don't know what that is.
That's why I didn't get it.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know what that is. Right. Guess you wouldn't. Not exactly the political type. I mean, in terms of public speaking and so on.
Yes. Would you mind telling me what it is? Please.
It's a little magical slip of paper that detects most common poisons. You tap it to your drink or food or whatever. And if it turns red, then there's intentional poison in it.
Can I say, I imagine Willow doesn't immediately pull that information now, but I think when he describes it, Willow surely heard of that before. For reasons.
Yeah.
I imagine like at least 3 years ago at this stage.
Yes.
I've lost track of the years. A few years ago, Willow would have known this specifically. They would have researched the shit out of this.
This is true. This is just something that slipped your mind. Maybe it's under a name that you don't recognize.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I just, yeah. Also, Willow being artificer, I imagine takes a lot of like theories from things and tries to rejig it their way, and thus will not recall the store-bought name.
Yeah.
Or like how other people refer to it. But it's like, yes, the poison McDoozy. It's that kind of thing. So yeah, I think that will
the
open
poison
up
litmus test is probably
exactly
what Willow refers to it as.
Yeah. Yes, and they will remember that. Like they know that, and they nod. Like, yes, of course I know that. But they're accepting that thought. And you said other than poison, tampering?
Yeah, I mean, what you were talking about, emotional magic, was it? Stuff like fear and so on? Well, if you're dealing with enchantments, sometimes there's magic that, you know, disguises itself. Especially in terms... What you'd want is presumably something that would, you know, detect if a spell has been cast. Like a yes-no sort of switch. Something that doesn't...
actual... Oh, sorry.
Sorry, what were you asking?
Well, does he have like actual suggestions of things to find or get?
He does. He does basically have a thing that's like something that is not an active spell, but like just is a switch that clicks over to yes or no after a period of time, something that can't be tampered with. It's like
a compass. Like
no, not even a compass. Not even a compass. This would be something like a... The only thing I can bring to mind right now is like a urine test. That's bad.
I mean,
but
it works.
But like, it's something that's like a smoke detector. Something that's like, this has absorbed ambient magic and has like changed states, and that change is permanent. It's not something that can be reversed or like that fades over time. It's like if you stain a piece of paper with ink, you can't erase the ink. You know, it's unlike it's something that will pick up on magic in your presence that like shows a permanent switch over.
Yeah, Willow's taking this all in. They are like absorbing his information. If he has any information about stuff to get, how to prepare.
Yeah. I think Damon starts like rattling off basically stuff that is old hat monster hunting preparation stuff. Like specifically if you're dealing with monsters that have like poisonous effects or magical effects. Especially in the case of like monsters that can potentially charm your allies and make them turn on you. Because that's a real concern. Such in the case of like harpies and other such creatures. Where it's hard to take preventative measures, such as earplugs. You want to at least have something that's like a spell has been cast. Or like a magic has taken effect.
Yeah. He said a kill switch. Did he mean like for me?
Yeah.
Oh.
There is more advanced, there is like highly advanced magic that if you have the money to spend on it, this is stuff that's like pretty expensive. That's like basically emergency heal if you hit 0. It's called Death Ward.
Oh, so not kill switch like, okay, we'll die now, bye. Like kill switch like activate death.
Yes.
Gotcha. Death Defiance.
Yes.
Phoenix Downs.
Yes.
Fairy in a bottle. Gotcha. Okay, no, that's because I was like, Damon, are you suggesting that I just die?
No.
Quite the opposite.
He's suggesting something that triggers in the event of your death. So either a safety net or a message that will be like, I have died.
Just sees across our vision the Resident Evil, you are dead, but it's across Anne's vision instead. And slamming down their teacup, we gotta go.
Willow's like a game model dying and
spinning into the distance with the blood splatters splashing across the screen like the old Resident Evil 1 and 2 death screams.
Yeah.
I don't think I could heal that.
The Dark Souls, you have died.
GTA, you wasted.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway, no, Willow is Good.
Yeah, so Damon is basically rattling off like professional monster hunter safety measures.
I think after a while he's going to notice there's like Willow's absorbing all of his information. Can I do a check to see if I know anywhere around here that I can get any of this stuff?
There's probably a Kenneth place that sells certain items, or else like there will be some independent no, it would be you could possibly contact Denise and ask to get a deal as a contract mercenary for that kind of supply. It's expensive though.
Can I get it in a day?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, like I'm thinking of what kind of stuff I can get in a day.
I mean, the things that you could definitely get in a day is the poison detection slip. And maybe a coin that will react if a spell has been cast on you.
I know somewhere we can go for gadgets, gizmos.
Mm-hmm.
That might have one of these. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, that's a reach, but maybe you could find one.
Maybe. I mean, Damon didn't expect to find a songbird there from Siri, I'm sure. Maybe, unless he's seeing the future. That place shows up with a lot of interesting stuff. Okay, I think Willow's taking this all in, And I think Damon might notice that, like, rather than they've been looking kind of contemplative and like absorbing this information, but like towards the end, they're almost like mindlessly smiling, like a closed-lipped smile, but yeah.
Ah, hell. Hope I haven't given you any bad ideas.
No. According to what you've said, I think they're all rather good ideas.
Oh. Better than no ideas, I guess.
Yeah. Willow looks quite chipper, actually. You give a little shrug and like... They're just smiley. They're a bit smiley.
What you thinking of?
Well, other than my possibly less than inevitable demise. Willow's like gonna sort of look out at this so I don't have to look at him. I'll admit my mind has not been what it used to be. But times have changed. Circumstances have changed. And it's good to have someone on board with answers.
Happy to be of service.
Willow gives a sort of polite little nod, and then I think they kind of sit in that for a bit, and then they'll like check the sun and sort of like they're just like they would have checked their watch if they had a wristwatch on. But they sort of click and go, we should head back.
Sure thing.
And thank you, Willow will say again. They seem very genuine. Just for context, Damon just provided all the answers they were mindlessly wandering around Regal Port for yesterday. Like so many of the answers, you know? Things that they couldn't think of, like how to find resolutions to. He's like just given them so much to work with, which is like much better than what they had. They're feeling bolstered in a way. Like this morning, it would have been impossible to think that they could feel like this, you know?
Yeah.
But they have also just remembered like the memorials tonight, and we'll probably be back by now, and the others. And the others, by which I mean Luca. I actually thought like and Audrey as well, but like they're the same person. Yeah. So yeah, Willow's like standing up in the sense of, oh, it's late. Let's get home before that.
Yeah.
But they seem very genuinely grateful.
Hey, no problem. Gives me a chance to feel like I'm not just twiddling my thumbs. He claps you on the shoulder. He claps you on the shoulder and like hops down from the roof.
Yeah, I think Willow's about to give him a look like, excuse you, you know, like, you're always talking about how I'm working, I'm always studying, I'm always doing maths, I'm always doing cosmic maths, but like, whatever. Just roll with it. They will be masked by the time they hop back down to talk with him. To walk with him.
Yep. And you head on back to the Gold Dragon to prepare yourselves for the coming memorial.
Yeah, so you think En and Luca get back first?
Yeah.
What you doing, Luca?
Probably just going over everything that happened in the Speak with Dead conversation.
It's thick.
Yeah. Yep.
I think En is avoiding the notes you've taken and is instead busying themselves with their own work, at least until like the hour is nigh when they should be getting ready for the memorial. Willow
I
come
imagine
back?
if you let her. I imagine if you let her in, Seeker Elsa will go over the things with you, Luca.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was there.
Spend
So.
time. Yeah, she was the one doing the magic. So
Yeah, so it's not a breach to look it over.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so you two can be steady buddies, and N is over on the other bed with their own book.
yeah,
I mean,
I
Ready?
imagine Seeker Elsa sometimes like checks up on N and is like making sure you're okay.
Yep, N is.
Especially since she is also going to be attending the memorial with you tonight.
Yep, and is giving curt responses and writing in their book.
who's
Or
Kurt?
are they writing? Or are they doing something else? I don't know. They're very engrossed in their book.
Yep.
Ugh.
I think at a certain point, Seeker Elsa will ask Luca to put away the notes for now and instead rest on what was said. Sometimes it can take a while for words to sink in, for thoughts to occur.
Yeah.
I instead get ready to attend the memorial tonight.
Yep. And puts down their book, stands up like, well, guess that's my cue. Kind of waves.
I
at
imagine
them off.
Willow has arrived back at this point.
Have
What
they?
was N doing?
And is going to the bathroom to get themselves ready.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So they're
I
gonna
could-
wander
maybe
off.
I can meet. Yeah, meet Elsa on the way out.
Yeah.
You see her.
Are you not coming into the room beforehand, or?
No, I meant on the way on her way out of the room. Is she not? She's staying in her own room.
She has her own room, yes.
Yeah, but she's
Yeah.
with us, and we're getting ready, and En's going into the other room to get
Oh.
ready.
I assumed she'd go back to her room to get ready. Well, we did, because it's like a small room. But
She's probably not like. She probably only needs a few minutes to get ready, so
And grab some
Oh, okay.
things.
yeah.
yeah, okay, then yeah, Willow can come back like around when N's in the bathroom, I guess.
Yep. En's going into the bathroom and closes the door.
Okay.
I think Willow
Hello,
will be
Willow.
surprised to see else. Yep. Willow will remove their mask, but immediately with like a very awkward smile, and I think Damon's probably going into the opposite room. Yeah.
Yeah, Damon is in his own room.
Yeah. No, I can imagine it's quite clear that they were hanging out. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Willow's awkward smile at Elsa. Oh, hi.
That's
Good evening.
better.
How are you?
I'm doing quite well. I'm just En's just in the bathroom getting ready. We're about to head out to the memorial. I'm staying the evening here at the Gold Dragon in a different room, of course. I wouldn't want to intrude on you all.
Glad you could make it. And thank you for the biscuits.
Oh, I'm glad you got them.
Mm.
I should have made more.
No, it's okay. I think N smuggled them away. So you want to know?
Luca?
Luca's insight check.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how Willow's vibing. Since I noticed they were with Damon. Oh,
Well, they-
that one coming in handy.
Well, they seem fine. They seem fine. Probably tense at the moment, but it's not Damon tension. It's Elsa tension.
Secret Elsa attention.
It's
Yeah, but
oh, no.
otherwise, Grandma's here. Did anyone offer the tea yet? So I
She
think,
has definitely had tea.
Yeah, and I think it's just the
There's probably like a saucer on her lap at this point.
yeah. Yeah. Blah blah. La, 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 la. What was I gonna say? Fuck. I think it's quite clear that Willow is tense only because of this, but before that they seemed quite fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Quite lively. But a little urgent to get back. I think there's like a clear... They wanted to get back, obviously, in time.
Yeah.
You're still coming to the memorial?
Yes, of course.
Well, you're a very secretive person. I thought maybe you could go off and do something secret.
No, I think it's important for all of us to go.
Look and nod.
Not you. Sorry, Tika. I meant us.
I understand.
Did you need more tea?
Speaking of... I'm quite fine, thank you. Actually, I'll probably head back to my room at this point and make sure I'm all ready as well. It's a bit of a ways away, as I understand.
Look and nods.
Right. Well, she sets her teacup and saucer down and says, "Well, I'll meet you outside your room?
If you like.
All right.
We can come get
I'll
you.
come back.
We'll
Okay.
meet you at yours.
Okay. You come fetch me when you're ready, and then we'll all head off together." And she leaves.
Bye.
Smile on the way.
Gotta say goodbye.
She waves.
I'm-
You can just wave.
Yeah, cool.
You were with Damon? Or did you
Yes.
just walk in at the same time?
Also, yes. Nothing eventful. So, you and N can rest assured I'm... not entirely operating solo.
That's a relief.
Hmm.
Although that's
Willow's
not fair.
To who?
Me. All the brains are over there. And I've got like 7 brains over here, but they're all very secret. So.
And Damon and I aren't?
Yeah, but you're secret together in a weird way.
Yes, well... Willow, like, rolls their eyes like they don't want to get back into that, but... They're gonna glance towards the bathroom now, and,
And is taking a long time.
yes.
Do you
I'm
wanna
going to insight check Lorca,
do it?
and I'm gonna... Huh?
Are you now?
Never mind. And I'm perception checking the bathroom.
Well, do we want to see what's going on in there?
Yeah, actually.
I know, I'll do a
Yeah.
perception check on the bathroom too.
And what's the vibe?
Well, Anne is in the bathroom, changing. Not too drastically. They are taking off their red jacket and finding the white rose that Audrey
Oh.
often wears and pinning that to their now completely black outfit. Just trying to look the part of going to a funeral. They see themselves in the mirror, all dressed in black. Last time they remember being all dressed in black for an occasion like this. Well, for the last funerals I attended. My papa, Mara, and I started thinking about them. What they would think of me, what I've become. Which leads me to think about funerals I might have missed. Thinking about Tassie, and I'm Kelson. I'm thinking about how when I turn away, bad things happen. How I took my eyes off Tassie for a few minutes and now she's gone. I'm thinking about ashes with no next of kin to be given to. I'm thinking of ashes with no one to mourn them. I'm thinking about ashes put in the wrong place. I'm thinking about what becomes of the ashes of an orphan. I'm thinking about Tassie's last moments. I'm thinking about the Smoky Tower districts being in Memphis. The silver face of tragedy is winking. The tyrant feeds upon my fear. Now more than ever, I'm on the stage and I can't breathe. I can't breathe. and kind of sinks onto the floor and just is shuddering and completely overwhelmed by this sudden spiral of thoughts that is all coming crashing down, that has been collecting since early days of this investigation, and everything is coming down on them right now, and they can't seem to reel it in, and they are on the floor like it's the first day after they left that theater. They are on the floor in a bathroom, curled up in a ball, and they don't know what to do.
Hey, Luca, you rolled a pretty high perception check. Do we...
I think you both can hear sobbing.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that we both... I'm imagining both of us cast each other a look like... Okay. No.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm in a mood today. I'm very tired of not doing enough. So I think even before Willow's aware, they're going to go and knock first.
I think, like, because Enna started sobbing and they didn't even realize they were crying, that knock, you hear the audible, like, catch of breath, like, startle, fear startle.
There's a massive hesitation from Willow in that moment, like the... Oh, to stand at the door to a bathroom and have to convince yourself to turn that freaking handle, as always.
Can I make a wisdom saving throw to see where Enna's
Yeah.
at? Right
I
now?
think you can. You can try.
I can try.
Not good
Ooh.
enough.
No.
You're at least aware that it's not somebody coming to get you, in the sense of hostile. But I don't think you can stop yourself from crying. The dam has broken.
Yeah.
It's come crashing down, and you are still in the middle of it.
Yeah, I think En's like, their hands are shaking, and they press their hands over their mouth, like trying to stifle the sounds, because someone's out there. They can't let anyone know that they're in this state, so they're just trying to silence themselves now, even though they are shuddering. Let's try and get it together.
Okay, what's the shifter got to do to convince himself that it's whether it's right or not to open the door in this situation?
Make either an intelligence check, a wisdom check, or a charisma check. Each of these are slightly different.
Wisdom check.
Okay.
Matching.
So, your wisdom check is, what would you want if you were having a breakdown alone in the bathroom?
Willow wants to be left alone forever, but Willow's not the best gauge.
What
Willow
would Luca
spent their
want?
morning having a breakdown.
Yeah, and what got you out of that breakdown was actually having somebody
A
else...
note under the door. Yep.
Yeah. Reach back
Do
to
I
you.
have wisdom enough to know that a note under the door is not going to work, so just an open door is going to have to do. Did N lock the door?
I don't know.
I think Willow's going to... Okay, I'm going to
I
try the
imagine
door.
it's
Is it
not like
locked?
a lock. It's probably
Yeah.
one of those latches where if you had a screwdriver, you could unlatch it.
Willow's
It's just
going
to
call.
prevent... I think it's just to prevent people walking in by accident, sort of.
Yeah.
quote unquote
Willow's going to
lock.
call first. N?
Oh, En's trying to say they're okay, but nothing's coming out.
Yeah, no, fuck that. Okay, Willow's gonna open the door. I think it's like they actually squeeze their eyes shut and like swing the door open. They don't mean it to be so loud. I'm sorry, not loud, but like sharp.
Alarming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a sharp, like halfway open to see what's
Yeah.
going on.
En is curled up in a ball beside the sink, and they jump when the door flies open.
Sorry.
Big, teary eyes are staring up at you, like you're the scariest thing in the world.
Oh,
At least for a moment. Quickly gets stifled under all that repression, but It was there.
What's Luca? What's Luca doing, by the way?
He's gonna see how Willow does.
I can't go. I can't go.
I think Willow's kind of taken aback by the look that N gave, and then the weight of the sadness and the fear hits them like a wave. Like it's the same kind of startling wash of I need to leave immediately that Tarek looking at them gave. It's the, oh, you have so much pain wrapped up in that look, I can't do this. But I think Willow's going to they don't really know what they're doing, but they just know that they can't do that again. They can't do that, especially not to N. So I think they're gonna kind of like crouch down and sort of shuffle forward to N. How does N respond?
And stays where they are. They're still curled up in a ball and their eyes flick to watch Willow, but it's less that they're afraid of them now and more that they're hyper aware of themselves and they're feeling up very vulnerable, and they're kind of curling in on themselves to try and hide that, not because they're afraid of Willow, but because they're ashamed.
N's hands wrapped around their legs.
Yeah, they're like near the knees. They were covering N's mouth, but because N spoke, they've kind of released onto their knees and they are shaking.
I think Willow's just gonna Willow's just sort of like at the point where they crouch down and they're approaching slowly until they essentially like knee shuffling across the floor to sit in front of N. And they're going to think of stuff to say. Like this again almost feels like when they were sitting in front of Islay, they couldn't think of anything meaningful to say. But is N about to say something?
Yeah, N's probably gonna talk if there's a prolonged silence.
Just while they're thinking. Yeah.
If I go, and someone reads my mind, it's over. It's over. If I'm thinking like this, it's over. It's all over. It's all gone. It might already be gone. I'm so fucking stupid.
Does N seem responsive to? Is this the kind of situation where N shouldn't be touched at all, or would touch help? Does Willie know?
Make an insight check. I think you're scared to try and to like set them off, so you don't.
Can I not try? Like, can I try and gauge what N's reaction is to Willow's like hand sort of approaching theirs?
I think that insight check is a failure, so
Ugh.
I think it's just the you don't want to risk it.
Can I use Fish Dog for advantage?
You can send Fish Dog to N.
I'm sitting right
know?
in front of N.
Yeah, well, you can pass Fish Dog to N. And if they want to grab Fish Dog, they can.
All right, that'll have to do. Willow's gonna yep, sort of it's their first attempt.
Yeah.
They reach into their pocket and bring out Fish Dog to sort of low approach N in that little questioning way it does. Like, maybe it can gauge whether N is open to touch and is more familiar with Fish Dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and watches it as it comes out and approaches, and they don't flinch away from it, but they don't grab it either. Their hands ball into fists and they look away. They just seem ashamed.
What are you doing, Luca?
I'm
Just
listening.
watching, just listening.
I think at this point I'm standing outside the door, but not engaging.
I do think you get the impression from Willow, like they have a determination about them, like they're going to do something, even if you can't see anything happening.
Yeah.
So I appreciate. I didn't even think of that, but I feel like Luca's letting that play out, which is interesting. Willow's So N didn't take Fish Dog.
No. They seem ashamed too. Like they don't deserve comfort.
Okay, Willow's digging deep. What to say if they can't think of how to physically comfort N, then they can maybe think of something to say. Right? Do I have to roll for that, or can I just dig into my brain?
You can dig into your brain.
I believe in you, Willow.
And just said that they didn't want to go to the memorial. Gonna fuck everything up. Something like that.
If someone reads my mind while I'm thinking like this, then it's all over, is essentially what N said.
Okay, I think the only we don't have to go if you don't want to. If you feel like you can't go at the moment, then we don't have to go.
And squeezes their eyes shut and their head like sinks into their knees.
We could pay our respects another time.
We have to go.
Why?
I told everyone else I would be there. And
Doesn't matter.
If I don't go, then I'm doing it all over again. I'm running away again and I'm not looking back. The truth is, Willow, I'm the coward, not you. I'm the idiot. I'm the one who can't look back, who can't do anything. Who just runs. That runs.
I think N's first thing about I'm running away again hits Willow in a way they weren't expecting. They are more comfortable when they say to N. Not comfortable, that's not the word. They are more steady when they say to N. Once again, you are incorrect.
And peers up at Willow.
What?
And peers up at Willow.
Willow's crying. They didn't even mean to. Just immediate, like sympathetic cry almost.
Yeah.
Like, and hit a nerve, and like not in a bad way.
Yeah.
And put into words something they can't say to themselves, I think, and it just kind of are.
I think
It's not like a full crying, but you see tears like come down behind their glasses. Yeah.
In an odd way, that kind of brings N down a bit, seeing that. Like down from their heightened emotion just slightly, something else to focus on.
I think Willow like instinctively wipes their face. They don't want to cry either. But like fact of the matter is that if running away from the proper time to show your condolences is irredeemable and makes you a coward and an idiot, then you are not alone in that, are you?
And gives a little bit of a shrug. Sorry.
No. It's just a fact. You're incorrect. It's a logical fallacy. And that should be enough. to make sense of both of our woes, I'd say. And if I can take many years to muster up the courage to go home, then you can be kind to yourself for this one memorial and any others that you have missed or run from. Surely. Not as a favor to me. And if not for yourself, then just for basic logic's sake, yes?
I don't want to miss the memorial.
Then we'll go.
Then we'll go. And offers their hand to Willow.
I think Willow's gonna bypass the hand and go for a hug.
Oh. And we'll collapse into that, and I think in the state they're in, they are going to wrap Willow up in a really tight hug.
Just on you, bitch. Willow's doing the same.
You can feel and still shaking a bit, but they're holding you so tight. You are that lifeline, that glimmer of hope that pulled them out of that lighthouse all those months ago.
And Willow feels like they've been wanting to give you this hug for a while. Let alone accept a hug, but I think that's a side event of the side course of the main meal that they weren't expecting.
Yeah. As those two hug it out on the bathroom floor. Luca.
Mm.
What are you doing?
Just listening, thinking. More than anything, he is wearing a face of focus, deep in thought. Thinking about everything he wants to say to Willow, everything he wants to say to N. Wanting to fix everything with regards to the murder so that we can move forward. Thinking, going back, going forward, going back. Anne and Willow have each other.